pancakes. Making pancakes.
But you know, Paul body.
Making pancakes. Making pancakes.
Welcome back, guys. This is Arnaldo, aka Mad Dog, and this is the real episode 187 of GG's The Mouthful Podcast.
The mother flowering episode number 187. What is 187? You said, right?
Yep.
Of
187.
Of GG's The Mouthful Podcast. GG! Oh my God, that was horrible. That was terrible.
What happened?
I don't know. I went off key there for a second. Let me try that again. Me. La 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 la. GG! There you go. That's
nice.
the right one.
Much
All right.
better. Much better. Well
Thank
done,
you.
sir. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
That
Thank you.
voice, of course, is Mr. David Santos, aka Dream Twister. What is going on, sir?
I don't have my coach here nearby. Unfortunately, we're having to Skype it out by the quality of the podcast today and the sound. So that's why I'm a little off my game right now. I'm a little off key, but it's all good. It's all good. It is.
Man.
It
We
is
get it
Saturday.
done. Nothing stops the signal,
That's right. That's right. It'll come in late, but it'll come in.
but
That's
it will be here.
It will be here. That's right. That's right.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. If this is your first time, please go to goodgame.rocks and join the conversation there. Again, takes you right to our Facebook group. And also, please like, subscribe, and share the podcast with everyone. What we normally do, guys, is first we go into what we have been up to, move on into various news items, and then finish with our hot topic of the week. This week's hot topic. Stadia's launch.
And how not to do one of those.
Yes. Everything on basically what exactly. I can't even think of something better than the way you just said it. Like, what not to do, basically.
How to completely botch your launch, your console debut in a majestic way. Oh my God, there's so much fun to be had with with this system. You better believe that I canceled. Remember that I pre-ordered it because I figure one of us needs to do the jump. It needs to work somehow. One of us needs to report. So and I like the idea. I was on board with, and I still am for all intents and purposes with streaming games.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment I saw this incomplete train already wrecking as it was barreling down towards launch day, I was like, okay, no, this looks like it's on fire. This is not taking the landing at all. I need to abort, eject. They charged my card. They send me the tracking number for the shipment. Immediately, within a matter of minutes, I was calling FedEx saying, nope, return to sender, abort. I do not want this shipment. Actually, that's not true. I call Google because he says on the Google page, on the Google store, it says, well, if you have a button there, if you need to cancel an item, just press just press the cancel button there. I was like, oh, okay, nice, simple, cool. I like that because Amazon makes it simple to cancel items, And I went to the page and there was no button. So I was like, oh shit, I checked, where's my button? Where's my cancel button? It says, well, if there's no cancel button, you can't. It's already too late to cancel. And mind you, this was days before. Actually, this was days before shipment. They charged my car like 3 days before, but they hadn't shipped the Stadia yet.
Interesting.
So I was like, I called and I spoke to I spoke to a representative. I said, I know the item hasn't been shipped. I was already charged. I want to cancel my order. And they're like, "Oh no, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, it's too it's too late. The order's already on its way." And I'm like, "No, it's not on its way. It hasn't shipped. It's it's still. I haven't received any information, nor does the page says that it has shipped. It just says pre-order. And ya tú sabes, con un cuento, no, unfortunately it's too late to cancel right now. What you could do instead is when the order gets home, you could just say decline it, right?
Hmm.
But I was not gonna wait until that thing got home, so I immediately called FedEx. As soon as I got the tracking, actually, like the next day, I called FedEx and I told them, no, just send that back, send that back. For some reason, it's still on its way, on its way back, because apparently it takes longer to get a return back to them, even though I called them the
That's
same
because
day.
there's
Yeah,
no rush on it.
no,
That's what it
no.
is.
It's like because I'm waiting because I wanted to show that it has been picked up by someone already at their at their RMA or whatever, so I can call Google again and say like, okay, look, you got I didn't get the Stadia. You guys are getting it, so can you please refund my money? But yeah, that's what things are right now, and I also there was a lot of people complaining that had pre-ordered it and they had not received their code to
Oh,
be
they don't even
able.
have it yet.
They didn't have it. They received, some of them received the Google Stadia, the Founders Edition thing, but you needed a code. You need a code to be able to create the account that will allow you to choose your name, your early name. Remember, this was it. The thing with Stadia was like, oh, if you're one of the founders, you could choose a name. You have first dibs on your name, and it's not gonna have like a bunch of numbers at the end.
Hmm.
Kind of like Battle.net does. So I would have been, Dream Twister if I wanted to do the. Hell, I could have been David. I don't know. I could have been whatever because I
That
was
early,
looking
right?
over. And some people got upset because they did not have, they got the Stadia, but they did not have the codes. I got my code, and there was actually a reviewer that I follow that on YouTube, the guy from Google Nexus, sorry, from from Gamers Nexus, I meant to say, sorry. And he was complaining because he had thrown a video with a review, which obviously the review was we can't test it, so obviously it's a fail. you know, they tried to do
Wow.
a teardown, and the teardown was almost impossible because the thing was super hard to open. At least the controller was. So they took a Dremel tool to it and to be able to open it, so we can see the inside. They had ordered two of them so they can do reviews, so they can do content. And I even tweeted at them like, "Hey, listen, I have a code. If you want it, just let me know where to drop it, because I have no interest on actually on getting into this thing right now." They sent me mine, but I never got it. So because I canceled it. So yeah, that's my Stadia story.
That's the Stadia story. It's just a disaster before it even begins.
Because yeah, I know people were gonna figure out what's my take on it, since I say, hey, I'll pre-order it, I'll try it out, and I have tried streaming services before. I know what to expect, but not like this, not
Not
like
like this.
this,
Not like
not
this.
not like this. God, so we'll talk about that actually in
Yeah,
detail
we'll
in
go into
general.
detail
Yeah,
on the disaster that is. Well, I don't know
it,
if it's unmitigated disaster yet, but
it
well,
is.
we'll
It's a
get
fail.
into it later.
Yeah,
It's a fail. Yeah,
it's
most definitely a
definitely
fail.
fair. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, let's start the show with what we have been up to, and I guess I'll start this wonderful segment.
Oh, well,
Uh,
by all means, sir,
yeah.
take it away.
First and foremost, I'm going to start with what I have been playing. I finished the after party, and
Oh,
so that I was able to finish that, and that was actually really good. I really enjoyed it. Some of the really really good writing and
Yeah.
voice acting in this thing. It's really really good. And it's cool to know that there are multiple versions of the ending. You know what I mean? You can there's a choice. There's a choice behind it, and you can actually lead to a different ending, which is pretty good. But
So
overall, it was decent.
this is the game where your entire objective is to
Oh
escape
yes,
hell by
yeah,
out drinking the devil. Am
correct,
I right?
correct.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is. And when you finally meet the devil, of course, is very Satan. It's very charming as far as the type of character he is.
Oh,
Uh,
well,
and of course, yeah,
he's an angel of light.
he's,
He's
yeah,
a,
sure,
it was a beautiful angel, back in the day.
sure.
Sure. So
So
he's a guy in a tuxedo. He comes in, he approaches with manners and stuff like that. Is that how they show
he
him,
is a
or is it too spoilery?
huge. It's no, because I mean everybody in so in the hell that this game has,
Uh,
there are a few people who look just regularly human, and that's because they're the humans who got cast there.
mm,
And then you have the demons who just look like demons. You know what I mean? They look like a demon. The horns, glowing eyes, and all that.
mm.
So of course he falls within that category essentially, but he is extremely tall. It's just like this really big, bigger than life character. But what's cool about it is the way the decisions are done are based on the drink. So like every time you go into a new bar area, and you can always get a drink, and the bartender. This made me laugh because I started thinking of you ordering drinks because
Oh
you get to
God,
the
no.
thing, you get to the thing, and they have all these interesting names. You know what I mean? And they're all weird. But the important thing about them is that they, depending on what you drink, will open up a dialogue option that you didn't have. So you can go in sober and answer a question, or if the question is asked to you, you take a drink and you'll see a new dialogue option
Mm.
pop up. And what type of what type of response is going to depend on the drink as well. So you have I can't think of any of the names because they are like some silly ass names.
The,
You know what I mean?
the raging uncle.
The raging. There was one that was called the something raging something, and I was just like, yes, there it is.
The
Uh,
rusty nail casket.
Something like
by,
that. And
by the
and then
way,
it basically makes you like it so like it has a description on each one, like right? It tells you what it's about, and it kind of has a little hint as to the path or the dialogue option it's going to give you if you choose to use this drink.
yeah.
So yeah.
Also,
So
in advance first. When you make it, you are making the choices based on kind of like where you wanted the conversation to lead to. Like,
correct. Let's say if you need to convince a certain person that they need to get back together with this other person or something like that, then you have one that's a little bit more lovey-dovey. So
uh,
your specific answers may pop up like, well, you've always been into him and he's always been into you. You don't want to lose,
uh,
stuff like that that option wouldn't be there. Or you have the other option if you want to split them up. You know what I'm saying? So you go with another drink that just says, man, screw that guy. He was horrible. And all this. So that's the type of thing. So it's actually pretty cool. It's actually pretty good. I actually do enjoy it. If there's only one problem, I keep saying it's the occasional frame rate,
Pacing?
frame rate hitch, and it's just like
Mm,
you look at it and you really go, man, this is not a graphic intensive game. I just don't understand
mhm.
why it is so it really hitches at one. The good thing is it never crashed and never anything is, but at some point I was just like, man, I thought I did crash, because it took a good 5 seconds for it to
Oh
load the
wow,
next frame. Yeah, and I'm like, man.
that's
So
Telltale level engines levels of of
it
hitching
is.
at that point.
It is, and this is not, I don't know if you've seen any of the trailers, but it's
I
not.
see. Yeah,
Yeah. You look at it and you go, there's not a lot going on here. But
I like it.
the characters are what make it worth it.
I like I told you I think last time we spoke about it. I like the art style of it. And but yeah, you're right. It doesn't look like the type of game that like requires a heavy machine to to run it smoothly. And it makes me wonder if it's the computer computing the decisions in the background, like all the things that it kind of have to keep track of. I mean, like, it's hard to imagine
Maybe,
that
but
that
yeah,
alone because yeah.
yeah. But again, it's nothing. There's not a lot going on in the foreground,
Mhm.
except for two characters standing around chatting. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's not like you have this huge action sequence that's happening in front. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's very light on puzzles. And by puzzles, it's more like what do you call it? It's almost like what do you call that game? Simon.
Oh, so like Simon
Yeah, yeah,
said?
like yeah, the Simon thing where you have to copy the whatever. So you have
Uh-huh.
that type of that's more not
Or
even that's
or
not
now
even
known
really
as now known as QTEs.
sort of, but it's more it's like for instance you're dancing right. So
Uh-huh.
the person that's next to you is dancing and they have these three. There's a three button prompt. You have to copy that three button prompt so you match their dance.
Uh-huh.
It's almost like Parappa the Rapper or some shit like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I got you.
So yeah, so those are pretty much the only thing outside of walking around and talking that you're really doing.
Yes.
And it happens once in a blue. But there's some interesting decisions. So, but yeah, so that's After Party. It's from Night School Studio, who did Oxenfree, which was a very very good game as well. That's one of my that's I
I need
liked
to
Oxen.
I need to play that, right? Because I mean I own it. I haven't played it yet, but should
Oh
I?
then yeah, absolutely.
Probably.
It's got a
Okay.
great story as well. Yeah, it's very good
Okay,
stuff.
cool. Good, good, good.
And then so from there, I jumped over to the world of Death Stranding.
Ah, the main event.
Yeah,
All right.
the world of Death Stranding, guys. What can I
Uh,
say about Death Stranding?
please tell me, because I need to know what your interpretation is, because I have no fucking clue.
So, well, I mean, let me just say where I'm at. I am probably 5, 6 hours in. Okay, and this
Oh,
is from
okay.
one sitting.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's how I know how far I'm in because it's
Uh,
just I just turned it on. I think it was on Tuesday, and I said, "Yep, I'm diving in."
yeah.
Uh, so far, I am extremely curious. you know,
Okay.
it,
Good.
it it has me it has me interested. So when it comes to stuff like when it comes to sci-fi, right? I've always said this about sci-fi. Any sci-fi. This goes with movies, video games. When it comes to sci-fi, I am first off, I just tell me the story.
Mm,
Take me on the trip. You know what I mean? It's like
mm.
and I completely don't try to relate it. I don't try to do anything with it. It's like, nope,
Don't try
this
to
is not real.
explain.
Yeah. Don't try to put normal world stuff into this thing because obviously it is so. So whenever I do that, sometimes it's a good thing. Other times not so much. It's like at some point it should become so nonsensical. They're like, okay, this is just you lost me completely. So
This is
so with this
Jupiter
one here.
Rising.
This is no, no, it's not Jupiter Rising. God
No,
no.
I'm saying
Fuck
I'm not
that
saying the
movie.
stranding is.
Oh,
I'm saying that at some point, if you don't try to relate anything to real life, you're like, okay, no, you still lost me. This is
yeah,
sci-fi for sci-fi's sake.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. My only issue is, and this is just me, right? So this is a very early issue, and that is simply that sometimes there's explanations that or things that are said that are just like over explanatory. It's like, okay, if you've been living in this world this long, why are you explaining this to them? It's like, you should know how this
Should
all
they
works.
know exactly?
Yeah,
It's
exactly. So
exposition time.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's funny because you have so many moments that don't do that. You know what I'm saying? And those moments work so well because you're left with putting together from your mind what you think is going on and just going from there. And sometimes obviously because it's your own mind, you're going to try to make it the most interesting thing.
Mm.
So anyway, so I'm about 6 hours in, and I am actually, for whatever reason, enjoying it as well. As
For
far
whatever
as
reason.
for whatever reason, I'm enjoying it as well. Um, I really don't know what it is, but you know what I mean. It's just, and I think I'm gonna kind of mirror what you said. I don't know what it is that makes it interesting. I don't know why I love BB. I don't know why. I just I'm ready to go into the next. Like I really just wanted to jump back in and get back on the track onto the next destination. You know what I mean? And then when I look at the map and I go, man, if this is what it's looked like it's gonna be, this is gonna be a serious journey. You know what I mean? This is taking the game journey that's only like 2 hours long, and yet felt like a journey. You know what I mean? And and extrapolating that out to say, oh no, my friend, you're on your way to the mountain of Mordor to throw in a thing. This is the journey we're talking about here.
Yeah.
And so yes, it's gonna be it's gonna be three-hour long movies is what's gonna happen here basically. So so anyway, the characters are interesting for what they are. A little bit on the nose. Some of the stuff again doesn't make sense, but I just know it's gonna as I go into it more, I'm sure it's gonna explain itself. The guy with the mask, when I'm just like, I don't get why are you wearing this? I don't understand. Why are you wearing this mask?
Oh, you're talking about Die Hard Man?
Yes, and that's the worst part. It's not Die Hard Man. It's Die Hardman.
Die Hard
You know
Man.
what I mean? It's Hardman. It's
I
like,
know. Yeah.
what the hell?
Not to
I'm
get
like,
confused.
okay.
Not to be confused with Dead Man. But it should
Yeah, with Deadman.
Dead
He
Man.
is Deadman. It's not Deadman. You know
No,
what I mean?
yeah. It's not.
It's so weird, man. Graphically, this is a freaking marvel of a game. When you look at just looking at everything, and it's just like, man, this is the level of detail that is on display at all times in the game it's almost a little much. You know what I mean? But I'm like, at the same time, it's like, Hideo Kojima and his team and these guys, it's like, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna freaking do this. And so I have bought in so far, right? I don't know how long the game is. I understand it's possible you can spend more time on the game that you actually probably need to.
Probably need
So
to,
you can,
yes,
you can
absolutely.
probably fall into a hole by accident. So
Yes.
I do like the episodic nature of it. It almost feels like it's literally, a story being told. I really do like I really do like it so far. And I'm still early, so I really can't go into too much. I've only had one run in with the mules, and all I did was just avoid them. So I didn't even take them on. The thing with the transporting of the body, which by the way, this is not really a spoil. I won't say specifically with who's involved with the body,
Right.
but the actually just the disposing of the body is such an interesting and yet weird thing. Weird and yet interesting the way it's how it's so important that you have to do this, because otherwise you realize really early on what the what the penalty is if you don't. You know what I mean? Which is strange, because it's funny. I remember seeing that particular portion of it in one of the early trailers from Death Stranding, and I just assumed that was somewhere in the middle of the game. Nope, that's right there at the beginning.
Yep.
And so I'm like, man, what am I in for? You know what I mean? So yeah, I think I really do enjoy it. I don't like the fact that I have to read so many things. Not that I don't like reading like that, but it feels like it's disconnecting me from the game. I have to stop and read something. I'd rather either you do it in some audio format or show instead of tell. And it's just it feels that's the couple times that I've received some emails or some sort of messages, and you just sit there and read the whole, and then it's giving you a little bit of backstory, but it's like, I just want to get back into the world.
Yeah, they happen to be they're long, and you're right, they disconnect you because you can't move, you can't do anything, you just literally just reading a long email. I got to, and you do get a lot of them. I got to the point where I'm not even I'm not even worrying about it. If I see a subject that seems interesting, I might go in and read on it. But now I just stopped because yes, they're valuable in the fact that they give you a backstory. It kind of like forms. Remember, everything is like super crazy and super disconnected in this game. So that through the emails that you receive, it kind of gives you like a more exposition and more explanation of how the world became that. The problem with it is that they chose the worst way to deliver it. Long ass blocks of text
Attacks. Yeah.
with
The only good thing I have noticed in some of the texts, and maybe not, maybe it's all of them, I don't know, but again, I'm still just a few of them in the beginning, have highlighted portions of it,
yeah.
almost to suggest this is really all you need to look at this
Yeah,
email.
yes.
This is this little yellow area that's in the text. Just
Read
just read that
this.
real quick. Yeah, and then then feel free to read the rest, but if not, at least capture this much. So I've read all of them, but I can see now just how easily you can just go, okay, I only really need to focus on that if I don't want to get lost too much in this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do enjoy that. I also maybe a little bit of a nitpick, and I don't know how much of this will essentially continue that way, and that is the there was a scene, or there was like, so you're out in the area, out in the open, and you have the timefall, right? So the timefall is on. You kind of want to get out of it, as quickly as possible, because obviously it can damage the packages. And so I'm hiding in this one area, waiting for it to go. I lay back, I'm waiting. I'm like, how long do I have to fucking wait for this timefall to go?
Mhm.
And then I stop, and I'm like, and I literally probably wasted a good 15 minutes. And I was like, you know what? This is probably scripted. You know what I mean? So of course I get back into the thing and I walk a little bit further, and now you can see that the scripting starts. The cutscene. I'm like, oh shit! If I had known that, I would have wasted 15 minutes trying to wait out the damn timefall. So those little things are like, it feels like it's open enough to it, but
Mhm.
maybe later on it opens up more. But here, obviously, it was a little more scripted, and I was just like, okay, if I had known that,
Yeah, you have your areas where it's like, oh, you're entering this area. There's always gonna be timefall here, and you will see that because you will notice like, man, every time I go through here, there's timefall. Well, yeah, that's the game means that area to be like that. Just like you said, some other times it's just scripted, and rarely is it like random. I mean, I wouldn't say rarely, but uh like I've learned to start not worrying about it. The packages are always going to receive some sort of damage, but honestly, it's very minimal. I guess because I like you at the beginning, I was worried about the rain a lot to the point where when it started raining, I would just start booking it wherever I needed to go. It didn't matter if I fell or anything. I was just like, no, I need to get away from this water because this water is affecting me, but it's really not. And the packages, yes, they do get bad, and later on in the game when you start getting vehicles, you can start getting your vehicles getting kind of messed up and stuff. But I've been underwater under the timefall for a while, and I have yet to encounter. I think like one time only early in the game, one of my packages got destroyed, and it was because I pretty much neglected it. The damage was not entirely because of timefall. It had other damage. I just I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, you could really start not having to worry about it too much.
Okay.
Honestly,
Well,
the
that's good
game
to know.
means you to
Because I was
go
just
in.
like, yeah. Well, yeah. So I was saying, but it was like the little first cutscene on it is like, I need to get out of time for.
Yeah. Oh
So I'm
yeah.
like, okay, so obviously that's something you need to do.
It is
And
scary.
and honestly, the only reason I found, that's the other thing. The only
Uh,
reason I found a section to hide in was because of another player leaving, hey, this is a safe haven for the rain. Like they left like a little sign or something like that. I was like, oh, perfect.
yeah.
Let me get in here and let the rain or the timefall pass.
Yeah.
Nope. It, it's not passing. It was just waiting for me to trigger the
next
cutscene. So, but anyway, overall, like I said, still early. I still like to play it. I'm glad I really have nothing else planned for the rest of the year. So I have my time where I can just sit, relax, play it. There's a nice little lull here until January before. I mean, there are games coming out, obviously, but nothing major that I need to get on immediately. So this will be a nice little end of the year treat. And so far I'm digging it. So far I'm very digging it. As far as what I have been watching, I do want to give a shout out to The Mandalorian. Because
snap!
yes, we are proud subscribers, and when I say we, I'm like more my wife, because she's actually the one who's paying for it. But I still have my thing with Disney. I don't know how I feel about giving them, everything. They have this massive monopoly almost at this point, But hey, it is what it is. But anyway, The Mandalorian, guys. First off, so far is really good. It is much more slow pace, much more, and it's on purpose. It's like it's doing this. It feels like a true space western with the Mandalorian himself, Mando, which is what they call him for short.
What?
And
Mando,
yeah.
okay. Mando the Mandalorian, huh?
yeah.
They've been spending a little bit too much time with Kojima, evidently.
Exactly. They didn't really spend that much time figuring that one out. But no, he's played by Pedro Pascal, which I recognize his voice immediately. For those who don't know, he played the Viper in Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah.
And he's been in a bunch of plays, he's been in Narcos and a bunch of stuff that he's done. And so he voices the guy. He plays him. Obviously, one of the big deals about Mandalorians is that they don't take off their helmets. So this is very interesting that Pedro Pascal. First off, most actors are especially big name actors are like, no, I can't do it if I can't show my face. You know what I mean? That was actually a big deal from the original Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone, where the moment he takes off his helmet, all the Judge Dredd fans were like, "Oh God," because it was like Judge Dredd never takes off his freaking helmet.
Wow.
But of course, this is Sylvester Stallone, and he's like, "No, I got to show off my face. People got to know it's me," So Pedro Pascal obviously is taking that route, saying, "No, this is what the character needs," and so that's what he's doing. So overall, so far, it's like it feels like I said, it's like a space western. I'm really digging that portion of it. Obviously, for whatever reason, and well, not for whatever reason, I can almost understand it, but one of the biggest things to come out of this show is freaking Baby Yoda. You know what I mean?
God, yeah. I think somebody posted, a picture, and I was like, oh God, Disney, no, stop. Have some restraint, for the love of God. Not everybody needs to be related to everybody here.
So, well, first off, we got to clear things up. So, because there's a lot of misconception, because first, a lot of people are not entirely sure when this show is taking place. This show, this series, takes place 5 years after the events of Return of the Jedi. So, obviously, for all for you Star Wars fans, then that can't be Yoda because Yoda's died. You know what I mean? So this is, but I have had to clear that up with many people who didn't know that. And it's like,
but do we know the name of the race? I mean, the race is Yoda, and he's Yoda.
The species, no, it has never ever been classified. George Lucas has gone on record as saying he's always wanted to keep that character and that character species more of a mystical thing, almost magical, and so that's why he's never, and nothing, not even in the extended universe that's been retcon, has ever had a name for the species or anything like that.
I guess it's not up to him anymore.
In his species, huh?
I guess it's not gonna be up to him anymore.
It's not. But there have been others of his species actually there was one in I believe it was Attack of the Clones, and the last one, what was the last one? Revenge of the Sith. Um, that not the last one, but the one that came after Attack of the Clones. There was a female of Yoda species
Yeah.
on the console, and so anyway, so the only reason people are calling it Baby Yoda is one. It's two reasons. Well, one,
It's a baby.
they think it's Baby Yoda. Yeah. They think it's actually Baby Yoda. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? And the other one is like, well, we don't know what Yoda is, so it's
Yeah.
just a Baby Yoda. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's you really don't have any other name for it.
I'm glad.
So
I'm glad you mentioned that because it clarifies a thing. I thought the most of the history of the Mandalorian and the history behind the Mandalorian Wars, if that is still a thing and it hasn't been retconned
it is.
to hell, happened. Before before the rise of the New Republic. During the time, actually, I always thought it was around the time of the Old Republic. To be honest with you,
It's
you know?
very old, yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
they many that believe that just didn't know or just assumed that the Mandalorians were all gone. They come they obviously they come from the planet Mandalore is what it is. And yes, another thing which I think a lot of people don't know is that Jango Fett and Boba Fett are actually not Mandalorians. They just wore Mandalorian armor,
Yeah.
which was very their armor is such a special thing, and it actually showcases that in the show as well. The armor is very important to them. Their weapons
Yeah.
and they are a proud race of people who look into bounty hunting and stuff like that. But they're extremely hard to take down. When the Jedi's first took like they came out, in the Old Republic and all that stuff. It was difficult at first, but they were some of the ones who were able to stand toe to toe with Jedi, because they were so they're constantly prepared for they're almost like, and I hate to say it this way, not to, but they're almost like the Batman of that particular universe, because they're constantly they have so many gadgets on them for any type of need that it's like, man, that's really cool.
That's
So
cool. Yeah.
it is, and the show itself, The Mandalorian, really showcases that. So I am
Question.
definitely enjoying. Oh,
It's when they say so the Mandalorians that obviously from the planet Mandalore. So everybody is that like the like what everybody opts to become, it's every Mandalore on Mandalore a warrior type or looking to become
I don't
a
believe so.
bound,
Yeah, I don't believe so, because there have been moments in the show, slight spoilers here for the show, but moments that do little flashbacks, and you can see what I assume to be the young kid of the main character as a young kid, with family and stuff like that, and you can see that they don't have helmets and stuff like that, but they look like they're just your regular
Okay.
people running through the streets because something that's happening or something.
Okay,
like
that's
that.
good.
So,
That's good. So
yeah.
in other words, it's not every Mandalorian that lives on the planet is that it's
No.
freaking
They do
assassins.
have,
know.
yeah. They do have like a warrior class, and I think that's
Yeah.
where they fall under. And you see a lot of them in the show so far.
Yeah.
And they're very cool, and they all have. It's funny because you almost think that they all look alike, but no, they have little slim differences you can see in their helmets because they designed their own armor, so they make it to look a specific way, so they can have things that stand out. They have almost like marks or stuff that they'll put on their armor as almost like a trophy or and it's just to signify that they did something. Anyway, it's really cool. Like I said, so if I have complaints, which I do have some complaints, my main complaint is that Netflix has spoiled me. I am a binger. So when I watch a show, I'm gonna watch it all in one fell swoop. You know what I'm saying? It's like or as quickly as possible. But this waiting once a week shit is fucking annoying. You know what I mean? The only show that I've ever done that before, and I did it, and honestly, I'm doing it here for the same reason, because otherwise I would just wait for it all to come out and then just watch it. But the reason I don't do it with this is the same reason why I didn't do it with Game of Thrones, and that is spoilers. And I was like, no, I don't want to run into spoilers, so I'm like, I have to see it every freaking week, you know what I mean? Because so far, unless it becomes to the point where like it's okay, or something like that, which I
Yeah.
hope it doesn't do. But so that's one complaint, but that's more of a choice
Have
that
it.
Disney,
Yeah.
Disney Plus made. Yeah. My other complaint is that the episodes are not very long. The very first
Really?
episode was like 40, let's say 45 minutes. So I was like, okay, I figured they're gonna be like that. And no, episode 2 was about 32 minutes. This last episode was about
Really?
36 minutes. And
Oh.
take into consideration you have credits at the end, which are fairly long. That wipes out about 2 minutes right there, 2 to 3 minutes. So
Oh
they're not
wow.
long. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I feel a little gypped again
Yeah.
because this feels like a show that would merit having an hour long. Now
Yeah.
I get it. You don't have to stretch it out to an hour and then fill it in with bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But maybe it doesn't need to be 10 episodes. Maybe it only needs to be 6 episodes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, so a nitpick maybe, but still, I feel like I get like this last episode it got good and this and all that right towards the end, and then boom, credits roll, and I'm like, oh fucking hell,
Have
you
an
know.
hour, man. But that, yeah, even Game of Thrones or shit, like almost any series on Netflix, it
Hmm.
gives you, it's I don't know
It's
if it's a
two.
full hour,
Yeah,
but it's 45 minutes heavy, or or something meaty. This one
yeah.
is almost like Saturday cartoon levels of long, almost, if they're cutting it up at 30, at 30 minutes. Does it give you
Yeah,
the
that's
do you think it gives you the impression that this series was just kind of like cobbled up? I mean, obviously not, because obviously the production values are gonna be there, but like the material was kind of like put together kind of fast to meet the release of this service, and maybe then later on, as the next season comes out, they could probably extend that a little bit.
it doesn't feel, no, it doesn't feel that way at all because the shows, like I said, take their time,
Mm.
which I really like. There may be a new character that comes in, maybe something like that, and that character is very original, and maybe they're not going to be there for the rest of the series. Who knows? But
Mm.
the time that they're there is good. You know what I'm saying? They feel like a real character.
Right.
So, but it does take its time. Like I said, it's not. It does have its action moment because it's gonna need to have it if you're gonna be called Star Wars.
Right.
But it does feel like it takes time. So it doesn't feel like it's rushed, but it does feel like there is a purpose. The movie comes out on, when did the movie come out? When are we going to see that movie? Something the 18th or something like that.
December, yeah.
Somewhere around there, yeah. So it does appear like there is some sort of
Lead
reveal
up.
that lead up.
Oh
So because
God.
the penultimate episode
Mm.
happens before the movie's release, and the final episode happens after the movie's release. So I don't know. I don't know because the
Mm.
timeline obviously is completely off as far as this
Yeah.
here. We're only 5 years after Return of the Jedi, so Luke is still the same young Luke he was at the Return of the Jedi. I mean,
Yeah.
and so
So it's just gonna jump all the way to at some point. It's gonna be like 20
no, but I
years
think that
later or something
there
like
may be
that.
something that happens here that may explain something that happens in the film.
Mm.
And I obviously don't want to reveal my thoughts because that can potentially be a spoiler, even though it's my own personal, my own opinion,
Yeah.
and it is based on stuff that I've read and looked into, as far as what they think things are going. So I won't say what it is, but I think that's their plan, and which is fine. That's what they did with Marvel Agents of Shield, which
Mm.
tied into the movies, or didn't tie into movies, but events from the movies tied into the episodes of the show around the time that they were being aired. So we're Marvel, Disney, it's all the same thing at this point.
At this point,
So
yeah.
yeah, so I think that's what they're going for, but it doesn't feel rushed. It feels like this was. If there's one thing I can tell you is you can see the money on the screen.
Mm.
Special effects are movie quality, where Game of Thrones were expensive episodes, but occasionally I was like, that didn't look too real. You know what I mean? Here it's like, nope, this looks like you're watching a Star Wars film. You know what I mean? Because it
Yeah.
looks really, really good.
It better. Yeah, this is Disney money, and they're pouring it up.
Agreed. The what?
I disconnected my microphone. My bad. I'm back. As I was saying before I stepped on the cable, literally, they better because it's Disney money, and they're pouring it into the service. You know, the only disappointing thing to hear is that if they're gonna be, you know, short episodes, not only you're not getting to binge, you know, you can't binge on them, but whatever, that's more like a personal preference. But also they're only gonna be half an hour. It all at that point it starts feeling like, and I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that it's not gonna impose me to subscribe on it. Because it feels like almost like webisodes. Remember, and I always hated that term, by the way. But remember,
I know.
what they
I
would
remember
do.
the episode, yeah.
Yeah, the web. They will have before the actual thing, you know, the movie or whatever. You know, they will give you some snippets. You know, half an hour snippets on, you know, the story of what happened during this, you know, season 3 and season 4 of Battlestar Galactica or some shit like that. You know. So I'm not sure if I get it. Obviously, it could possibly be that, hey, you know, these episodes are kind of expensive to produce because we're producing everything, you know, movie quality. But and like you said, I would not want it to be filled with just BS, right? And to be fair, another series that I'm seeing that I was watching that was like that also was Cobra Kai. You know, Cobra Kai is on YouTube. It's like a smaller, you know, it's like obviously a smaller thing as far as production values, but the episodes were short also, and they felt too short, you know, as well. So I don't know how I feel about that, you know, about that part, but I'm glad to hear that it's actually so far it seems like it's interesting because we're kind of, I think you and I personally are kind of worried about, you know, this movie, and we're like our excitement levels have not been, our excitement levels have not met the excitement levels that we've had before. So,
correct. Yeah, correct. And it's honestly is because of the backlash that the last film got, The Last Jedi, a film that I thought was probably one of their best ever. And yes, that includes scenes that, you know, I get it, that, you know, that was like maybe unnecessary or maybe went on for too long. I get it. But when you look at the overall thing, I thought it was one of the best. And obviously a lot of people didn't. And now it feels like they're, course correct. You know what I mean? And I'm like, so, okay, fine. You know, it is.
Tell your story. Stop listening. Like, right? At that point, it feels like,
I agree.
Stop listening to the committee and do your story. You know, like, exactly. Don't take anything, you know, don't change anything just because the satisfy, you know, it's ridiculous.
I agree. Yeah. Final thoughts on it, Mandalorian. First off, I am in the camp, of that Baby Yoda is the most adorable thing I've seen ever on TV. I know it. It is what it is, but every time I see him on there, I'm like, man, that thing is just freaking cute. you cannot look at it and go,
creepy.
Oh,
it's creepy.
No,
it's a baby,
not even a little,
with wrinkles and black eyes, completely black eyes. It's like, no, that thing is not cute. That thing is scary. Not scary, but it's
absolutely
it's
adorable.
Creepy.
No, it is not. It is absolutely adorable. Yeah. And it's funny because I looked into, because the first thing I said, I was like, why are there no dolls of this? This would have been like, hello, because if Disney's huge on merchandising, so I'm like, they literally be printing money right now just by having that doll because it's so huge after just 3 episodes, you know?
Of course they have a doll.
No, they don't actually, not yet. I'm sure it's coming, but they don't have it yet. And the reason for that is they didn't start production or anything on it because they didn't want to spoil.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, okay, well, I guess that makes sense. Another quick bit of information here for comparison sakes as far as the cost per episode. Right now, The Mandalorian is reaching costs about 15 million per episode. Is what the cost behind that is. In comparison, Game of Thrones originally cost, this is at the season 1, about 6 million per episode, but it did balloon to about that much, almost 15 million by its final season. So
Wow.
it's right around there.
So yeah.
So yeah. But then you think about that, 15 million per episode, but you're getting an hour-long episode, a 20-minute episode. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? This is $15 million per episode, and I'm only getting 30 minutes. What the hell?
You guys are gonna have to
So,
get a little bit more efficient in the way that they make these things.
yeah, exactly.
Because-
Clearly, yeah, exactly. So, anyway, good stuff. Obviously, what you can do, like I have Adam at work. He's waiting for all of them to come out so he can just get the free trial and just burn through them all.
Yeah. And
So,
that's not
maybe
a
the
bad
way to-
idea actually.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at
Yeah.
all.
When you think
He
about it,
doesn't care
like
about spoilers, so.
there's not much, if any, like, I understand this service is like God sent for Disney fans. I mean, there was always Disney Channel, but whatever. You know,
Not the same, bro.
it's not the same. I know.
That's like, yeah.
I know. I'm just trying. I'm just trolling. But like for me personally, like I never had that like super attachment to Disney. Yeah, I like some of the properties, obviously, the ones that are geared more towards like the things that I grew up with. So I don't see. I mean, aside from Mandalorian, I don't think that they will have the programming that will get
Yeah.
me to stay. To say.
Unless,
So
unless you don't mind going down memory lane, which is my wife has been absolutely loving. I've already watched Beauty and the Beast, the animated one, The Lion King, which, man, I forgot how freaking good that thing is. And just yesterday we saw Mulan, which is also extremely good. So,
well, see,
yeah.
that's memory lane to you, but not to me, because I haven't seen any of those movies, and I'll be fine. Like I don't like I haven't gotten
Yeah, you're not missing out.
the impulse to like,
Mhm.
oh, I must see this, But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'll be. I'll probably Adam it. I'll do like Adam, and I'll wait for all the episodes to come out, because like I wouldn't pirate them.
No, I hear you. I would not do that either. So, the last thing that I wanted to bring up that I watched, I just literally just watched today on our projector, which I still may actually end up getting the film, because I do have a collection of a lot of the DC animated films,
Oh,
and that is Batman Hush, which is so yeah.
talk
So
to me, because I have not heard about this.
So Hush is actually one of the newer villains. So it's not one of the original Rogues Gallery. Let me see when Batman Hush came out. Batman Hush
Batman
comic.
had the villain that he once, so his backstory. So he was a library worker. He used to work at a library, and he was tired of everything. These kids will come in and will make, the noises and rumble and stuff like that. He'll be pissed off. So he'll constantly be shushing people out and just hush. And let me see where he goes. So one day he gets attacked by this kid on the side, because the kids were tired of him getting, and he said, "I'm gonna enact my revenge, and from now on the world will be quiet." And that's how we got Hush. There you go.
Wow. Yeah,
Am I-
you
am
nailed
I-
it on the head, bro. Nailed
Nice.
it.
I knew it. I created the character. It was based, or they stole the idea from me, but I'm reading from my script.
No. So Hush is basically this mysterious, I guess we can call him stalker almost. Basically, but he's trying to destroy Batman. Obviously, right? They all try to, but the attacks seem to be a little bit more focused on Bruce Wayne, right? So the first thing is,
Oh, he
who
knows.
can this be? exactly. Who can this be? Because obviously that person knows. There are a lot of characters in it, and this is also true to the comic
Comic?
as well. There are a lot of characters that Superman comes in. Uh, Riddler. All
Superman?
the normal. Yeah, Superman. Makes an appearance as well.
Oh,
Um, so the comic book is like probably one of the best. One came out in 2002, by the way, so it's very
okay.
recent. So when you think of the Joker and Penguin, these guys were his villains back in the 40s.
Uh-huh.
Hush is a newer villain that's now, it's happening now.
Mhm.
If you played the the Arkham series from
Oh, the Arkham Knight? No, Arkham
the
Knight, but the previous one, the Arkham City?
Arkham, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City. If you played any of those, there's actually a lot of references to Hush in that as well. So I don't know
Oh,
if I
I
don't
didn't
know if
notice.
you recall it. Yeah, yeah. Well, if you don't know the character, then you're not going to get the reference. But
Yeah.
anyway, so the film itself is actually really, really good. I was a little bit concerned, right? Because the last one, which is The Killing Joke, not the last one, but the last one I saw,
Mhm.
that I really didn't like. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
was like it was, and I don't want to say it was bad. It was just you realize that the story was awesome because of the way it was told, and
Mhm.
trying to take that and make it into a film just didn't work. It wouldn't have worked live action, wouldn't have worked on animated either. It
Mhm.
just worked in print, and it was so well done in print.
Because
And so
because there was a lot of the monologue that the character, for example, the Joker will be in his head, right?
correct, yeah, exactly. That and even the ones that are voiced, it's like that's cool when you read it on paper, but man, when you say it out loud, it just sounds a little bit
It's ridiculous.
ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So anyway, so I was concerned going into this one. I was like, we'll see. But no, dude, it was actually came out to be a very, very good film. I really, really did enjoy it. It is there,
Nice.
so there is a love affair between obviously Catwoman and Batman, which we've all known about. There's been a lot of flirting, stuff, but this is the first film that really, the first animated film that really goes into an actual relationship between the two. You know what I mean?
Oh
And
well.
does it work? Will it work? And so it brings this to the forefront of the film,
Mm.
um, but with the backdrop of the actual Hush storyline, which Catwoman is in as well. Excuse me. So anyway, really worked. I really enjoyed it. I can definitely recommend this one. Um, you don't have your normal cast of voice actors here, so you're not going to hear the normal Batman that you've heard before, which I'm fine with. I think that poor man is already old. He doesn't need to continue doing
Yeah.
Batman. You know what I mean? I think we can get some new blood in here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, the Joker is in it as well. Of course, it would be. It wouldn't be a major story without him in it. But anyway,
Oh.
definitely enjoy it. It's on Prime. I don't think it's on Prime itself, but you can rent it
Okay.
there if you want to see it. So it's
Mm.
actually, but it was very good. I really enjoyed it, and I can definitely recommend it.
Cool.
Sir, that is all what I've been doing.
Awesome, awesome. Well, actually, I am so happy. First of all, that I get to hear your thoughts on Death Stranding because as you guys know, I have been I've been Death Stranding a lot lately, and obviously, I think I got like 10 days, ahead of you because I got it at launch and started playing it almost right away. I am on episode 5. I think I'm about to hit the end of that and go into 6. Obviously, I'm not gonna spoil anything that happens on any of the episodes because that wouldn't be cool. But it is starting to weigh on me. Heavy. It's starting to get heavier, just like the packages that Sam Porter Bridges is carrying, and it weighs on his shoulder. This game is starting to outpace his welcome. Um, It is, and I'm not saying I'm not saying anything. I'm not regretting it, getting
Mhm.
it, and I still believe that I will continue on it. I think what happened to me was that I fell on the trap that I was warned not to fall into. But just like you notice, it's almost like a drug. Well, I wouldn't know because I've never done drugs, but it's almost like the addictive nature of getting the packages delivered for this people for this people. So what happens in the story at some point, and this is not a spoiler, this is just part of the gameplay, is that you start encountering this areas where you gonna want to make connections to, right?
Mhm.
And as you make the connections to them, they start giving you better items and stuff, very slowly. And some of them give you like trash that you're never gonna use, like colors for your frigging whatever, Uh,
Sunglasses.
well, for the sunglasses, yeah, yeah, exactly. I think that's one of the earliest examples. Colors for your sunglasses. Like, gee, thanks. This is gonna help me a lot. You know. Um. So, but you because you kind of want to see what they give you next, because it could give you something that is very useful, or at least a level, a second level of an item that is useful that you've been using. Um, just say, for example, with weapons, right? You start you start getting weapons, and this weapon at first is very heavy. It's a large box, basically, that
Mhm.
you always, that every time you carry it, it's taking in that space. Well, the level two of that same weapon is the same weapon, but now it's lighter, so it takes less space on your backpack. So on your backpack, on your back, basically. So now you could you can maybe get more of them if you need them, or get other packages, or they don't weigh you down as much. Is what I'm trying to say. And
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
and you and obviously that makes you more efficient. But in order to reach that, you have to do a lot of freaking back and forth, and in deliveries, and they have warned you on every review that is out there on the internet. Chapter 3 is very easy to fall into that hole. Do not get stuck. Obviously, you do want to you want to level up, some areas here and there on chapter 3, but just don't get winded on that. Don't get just, too narrow focus on completing or on meeting everybody that is there, because that's when you start getting tired, because you're doing this repetitive thing,
Mhm.
and it
Makes
does get
sense.
monotonous. Yeah, yeah, it does get monotonous. My understanding is that because later in the game they're gonna give you other type of items that they're probably you're not gonna have to worry about the ones they give you on chapter 3. There's only one in particular that I've heard is very useful. I won't spoil. I won't say what it is. Um, but uh, but the problem is you don't know who gives it to you. You don't know who gives it. I knew because I ran into it by an article I want to say it's the Kotaku or Polygon, one of the two, that mentioned don't miss this very important item, that you get early on in the game, and the item is supposed to help you with the time fall, you know. But so far, like I was like I never I, I spent a lot of time, and I never got it, because like I was like I told you, I was getting tired of it already. And total, it's not like you really need it, because the like I said, the time fall, it's it's bad, but it's not so bad, at least early on, where you have to worry about it too much. You usually
Okay.
have enough time to do everything. Even the time missions at some point that you're gonna start getting, they usually give you ample time to be able, to be able to complete them. Uh,
Okay.
so and I'm still enjoying the aspect of finding other players and liking their stuff. I'm kind of noticing that on the area where I'm at right now, I'm not seeing as many control player items around the world.
Items. Okay.
Yeah, so I wonder if this is the
You
part where,
think you think people are just dropping off?
yeah, I'm thinking like this is the part where people are like, okay, I think I got my fill of Death Stranding. You know, I'll tell you,
That's
it is
hilarious.
a marketable difference. Like at the beginning, like I don't know how it does with you, but in my game world, there's a huge highway that people have constructed that you'll be able to. It's very useful, that you've been able to use, but at the point where I'm at, it's like not a lot of people are they're doing stuff.
Mm.
I think before you call me this to the podcast today, I was on a particular mission where I it was difficult because you encounter uh, the human factions, the what do they call them?
The
Uh,
you're talking about the
the
gosh, the
mules.
mules. Yeah, the
you know,
mules.
you get mules and you get BTs also. Not at the same time, thank goodness. But
Yeah, I was gonna say they usually run from the
yeah,
BTS.
no, yeah,
Yeah.
not at the same time. But it's like an annoying section because it's kind of long, and I was like hoping like, hey, where's this thing? Like early in the game, you could see the areas where it would have been difficult to traverse. Someone already, made a freaking bridge on it, and you're like, oh, thank you, whoever you are. Here's like 20 likes for it, and you use the bridge and you continue on your merry way. Here I'm looking at like, guys, like, where are your constructions? Give me something. I'm stuck. I don't want to go back because the BTs are back there. So that's where I left it. That's where I had to
Mhm.
leave. But also, it's weighing on the gameplay portion, and it's weighing also on the story side. It's like, you know I don't like that Kojima has doubled down on making the name of the characters be their literal function.
Mhm.
Like you have Mama, who is the Mama. You have what's his name, Dead Man, who knows about BTs and about the world, or the dead, or whatever the BTs are. I still don't know what a BT stands for. You have Fragile, and obviously, because of reasons, she is, she obviously, you already saw what happened. What
Mhm.
happened to her, basically. So, and of course, not to mention, you are Sam Porter Bridges. You're the son of the president, something something Bridges, and you work for Bridges, and it's your name is Sam because, of course, Uncle Sam or whatever. I don't know. It's not kind of. It is super dumb. It is super dumb,
Okay.
and it's
I,
getting to
I
be
I did
aggravated.
find the I got you. I did find the name because I was like, I remember before the game came out that they already mentioned what BTs were.
Oh,
They're called beached things.
bitch thing. Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. They are bitch things. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, there
Awesome.
you go.
That explains why,
That
you
explains a
know,
lot, right? Yeah.
yeah. Especially the fact that everybody listens to Japanese music in America, in this version of America. That's another thing. Oh man, I don't know. Sometimes I'm gonna stick to it. Obviously, I will continue. It's just, yeah, let's put it this way. I sat down and I was gonna play it, and I was like, I don't want to play this right now. I don't want to abandon it, but I don't want to play it. I'm just gonna go ahead and play something else. And something else I did play, actually, and this should come as no surprise.
Oh,
But
not
I
at all. It's already been spoiled, so go ahead.
I am actually playing uh Jedi Fallen Order. Oh
Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I grabbed a copy. I was like,
Where are you
like
playing it at?
I'm playing on PC. I'm
On
playing on
PC.
PC. Yeah. But I pay full price on it. I didn't try to get any or anything like that because, like I said, I commend this. The action the action that they did with this game, even though it's EA and fuck EA for everything else that they have done, but at least this they got this right, and they gave my money for that. So that is not to say that everything was right. The microtransactions and stuff like that. Yes, the game doesn't have them. It doesn't have any trickery. It's not live service. None of that. The only thing where I will say that I feel like they dropped the ball big time is the fact that the game got released a little bit too early. That they should have actually kept it. It feels like it could have benefited from maybe a month or two of extra time. Maybe delay it to, well, March probably. That would have been ideal because we would have known that we would have gotten a polished ass version of this game. The game, I haven't encountered any game breaking bugs, but I have heard of people that have encountered bugs where their save game basically gets messed up because they get to a point where they're not supposed to, and now they can't get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So and as I've been playing the game, I noticed where it runs fine. The animations, it's good. The world is beautiful. The story so far has grabbed me. It is a good Star Wars story so far. But from the reviews that I heard, I've heard, yeah, this game opens up strong and it ends up strong. So definitely stick to it. But for all that good part, I have noticed the hitching problems and like a certain lack of polish that I would have not expected from Respawn.
Okay.
And it is like you could
In
tell that.
comparison to, for instance, a Titanfall 2.
Yeah, exactly. You look at Titanfall 2, and that game, at least the single player portion of that game was as flawless as a Call of Duty campaign, will be. They usually like tie that. You don't get bugs on it. Yeah, you might get issues on the multiplayer here and there, or balancing stuff, etc. But as far as the single portion of it, it is rock solid. So they I feel like they missed the mark on that. So what type of game is this? It's actually very interesting because a lot of reviews alluded to this, and I definitely see why. The game is a balanced mixture uh, of a game like Uncharted. As a matter of fact, it has quite a bit of Uncharted in the exploration and the hangings and the moving like that. Um,
Does it do that thing where it looks like it's about to fall from the ledge or something
You know
like
what?
that?
I think so far I think it's done it once. I think it did it once. But and I thought of that exactly. As I was like, oh God, this is like Nathan Drake saved you on this one. The 20 times where you're walking, you're grabbing something and that thing's about to break or broke, but at the last minute you grab something else of a ledge or something. Yeah. With that, we all know
Yeah.
the Nathan Drake the
Drill.
Uncharted
Yeah,
joke.
the drill from that.
The drill, yeah. So this one, this definitely has Uncharted, Dark Souls, which a lot of people has mentioned. Yes, you have it. I feel like at least at the level that I'm playing, which is the standard one that the game puts you in, um, it is Dark Souls light or Dark Souls baby. In the sense that it does have it does have those elements, but it's not as punishing.
Okay.
The fights.
I think it would be like detrimental to the game if it were to go in with that kind of difficulty, because
True.
Star Wars is, they want it to be for as many people as possible, and
Yes.
clearly Dark Souls and Sekiro, for instance, are not there. I mean, they are, anybody can play them, but they are more geared to those who like that type of challenge and stuff like that, and
Oh, yeah.
know that, even the ones who maybe go, man, I may not even finish this, but
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it for now. So you wouldn't want that from a Star Wars game. You want to actually be able to finish the game.
So Star Wars, I mean, obviously a mainstream property is gonna be.
Mhm.
They're gonna want to cast the widest net possible, and that's not to say that they don't offer you the option. You could make the game be punishing. You know for a fact, if one of the things I hate about those type of games is parrying. I don't like parrying. So thank goodness, because I don't have the timing. I don't have like
You have to
I lag
develop the
already.
timing.
I
That's
know.
what
I
it is.
think I'm too old for
It's
it
not
already.
something.
I'm
It's
not as
not something
twitchy.
that's not possible, sir, because you and I are basically the same age, and I was parrying like a motherfucker in Sekiro. So
I
it
think
just takes, it's a skill that just needs to be developed. But I hear you. You
you
don't want to
probably do.
develop it.
Yeah, you
gotta
probably
put
want
it-
to, exactly. You probably want it. And in this game, the harder difficulties actually shows you, okay, look, this is the window that you have for parrying, and if you put it on the hardest difficulty, it's like no, you have it needs to be a perfect parrying if you wanna, if you wanna avoid getting damage or you're done. But on the normal level, I'm gonna call it the normal level because it's the one that the default one that the game shows you. Excuse me. It actually gives you ample time to do to do movement like parrying blows or reflecting back the
Blaster
the
shots.
blaster bolts, which is extremely satisfying to do. Like sometimes you will almost do it on impulse. Like suddenly, as soon as you hear a blaster bolt, you're pressing that button, and it's just awesome. Like run into a corner and looking at the corner, there's a sword trooper there, like ready to fire, and he fires at you. By instinct, you just press the button, you deflect the shot, he kills him automatically like that, one shot, and it feels so good. Uh, and so, but I was saying, yeah. So elements of Dark Souls is also, and what I mean by that is like if you get killed, you lose however many souls, let's call them, because
Okay.
whatever is that, the currency that you're gaining, the experience that you're gaining as you're battling, foes,
Mm.
you lose it, and then you get the opportunity to go back and attack that foe. Now you don't have to kill the foe that killed you. You just have to hit him. As soon as you hit him once, you get all your experience back. All right, and if you die again, you don't the experience doesn't disappear. You can still go back and gain it back. So it's like, oh, it's almost like, okay, guys,
Oh,
like
it's a
what's
little
the
more
point?
forgivable then. Yeah.
A lot. It's almost, honestly, it's almost like, okay, I don't understand the point of this gameplay element, because you're not, if I'm never gonna lose the ability to gain my experience back, because I'm always gonna be at least able to connect once, in the 5 tries that I have. Like I encountered one boss that I didn't mean to go into, that he was tougher. He was tougher than I was prepared to. And he kept on killing me, and I kept on going back in. And sometimes I'll be able to hit him and get my experience back. Sometimes I would not, but I never lost the experience. You know what I mean? Now maybe I was losing some and I just didn't notice, but it hasn't affected me. I did not notice that. And the last game that also borrows heavily on is Metroid Prime.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you ever played Metroid Prime, by the namesake itself, it is one of those games that, hey, there's a door here, but I don't have the requirements to open it just yet. So I'm gonna go back when the game gives me the powers to it. I probably need to go back to this, to this planet, and be able to open that door. So the game has, so the fighting on it is it's very satisfying. Like I mentioned, it's actually not difficult to not difficult to get used to, um, unless you're expecting like the darks. Like the case with Adam from work, for example, he was thinking that this game was going to control exactly like Dark Souls. It didn't, so he remapped his controller
Remapped.
so
Yeah.
that it'll have the Dark Souls, the hit on the trigger and block with the other trigger. I don't know if I want to do that just because I feel like the lightsaber attacks it doesn't they don't really carry that it doesn't have like a heavy momentum, like the weapons in Dark Souls. So it doesn't need to be that. I need it to be fast enough, and with the buttons, I'm a lot faster pressing the button than pressing the trigger. Uh, so comeback's amazing. Like I mentioned, the story is really good. It doesn't open with the crawl with the Star Wars crawl, and that bothered me.
Wow, really?
Yes, it's like it just starts
That's
with
kind of not
you know
good.
I know it's it's like you're trying to be you're trying to be a Star Wars, a Star Wars story. I mean, to be fair, we all know by now. I think it was one of what's it called? Rogue One didn't have a crawl, right?
Yeah, the movie Rogue One. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the movie.
It did.
Yeah,
But it
it
was done that I think it was like purposeful to say this isn't a main chapter. So this
yeah.
is and that's why it didn't have it. Or I think if I'm not mistaken, that's how they presented that information when they were asked, hey, why doesn't it have a crawl? But all the video games have it from that.
I
At
know.
least
I
all
was
the ones I've played. Yeah, the ones
dude,
I've played had, and I'm like, so what are we saying? Is
I,
Jedi Fallen Order not a main story?
I
You know
guess
what I mean?
I guess it's totally not because I was pumped from the moment I pressed start. I was ready for a long time ago, and the galaxy got far away. Nope,
It
none
didn't
of
even
that.
do that either. Oh
Nope.
my
It's
God,
just
EA,
the
what
the
the
game just
fuck? Not
yeah.
EA. Like, I guess this time I can actually blame Respawn. Like, what the
Respawn,
hell?
yeah.
You
Yeah, I
know,
was so disappointed. Like I'm almost wishing they will patch that in, even though that is a really really stupid thing
that's
to.
the of all the
But
things. Yeah.
of all the things, yeah, yeah, no. This game has some problems that I would rather much they address. Um, uh, say for example, one of the things that I did not really enjoying that much, and to be fair, I didn't enjoy it either in on the Uncharted games, is that twitchy feeling of controlling your character, you know, where it always feels like I don't know if the character's too light for the world or something, but like they don't really carry that much momentum when walking. The animation is good, but it's a little twitchy, where you just look like you're passing left and right when you're trying to when you're trying to, let's say, get on a particular part of the world, like a corner or walk through a narrow area, and you're like moving the character, and the character's like, I'm facing left. Oh no, I'm immediately facing right. Oh no, I'm immediately facing the other way. It kind of looks
Oh yeah,
silly. Yeah, yeah, that's
yeah.
what I mean by the twitching
It doesn't
the
flow.
character.
Yeah, the character doesn't flow like a normal person would.
No, no, exactly, and it's a nitpick. To be fair, I'm
Yeah, yeah,
nitpicking,
I got you.
Yeah, but it has that. Also, like I don't like the choice of the character, whatever his name is. I completely forgettable now. I don't like his character at all, and that's just a personal thing. It's just I don't know.
How long have you been playing so
I think I've put like 8 hours on it.
far? Oh,
But I am playing it because I'm also playing Death Stranding. I'm not worrying about like booking it or going here. I'm actually taking time to explore, and when you explore, you do gain some rewards, or you might discover something like I was about to finish this stage, or I thought I was about to finish this planet and get back to my ship, and there was a door that I was now able to open because of the force power that I got. I think it was a force push. I was like, oh, okay, well, let me just open this door over here. Maybe I'll just find, like, I don't know, a piece of lore here, or a Estus flask or whatever the hell. I open I open that that section, and it just uncovers a whole entire wide area of gameplay space, and I now, because I've opened it already, I can't just abandon it. Now I have to see what's in there,
Oh
and
yeah.
and there's this, like, you know the ships that are kind of like destroyed and stuff like that, and it's like, well, I guess I'm gonna explore now. I guess I'm not done with the planet like I thought I was. So it's really cool, man. I gotta
Cool.
say, um, if I'll be surprised if this game so far doesn't make it into my top five, at the very least, because it is super fun to play. It is entertaining. It is not as polished as I would have hoped that game to be, but I feel like for the first, for the first try on a third person character game that Respawn has done, at least that I know of, like they did a phenomenal
Solid
job with
out.
it. It is a very solid, yeah. It is a very solid, attempt, and the game is evidently the game is really long too. From what I heard. I mean, you could finish it quicker if you book it, but from the looks of it, I mean, I've already put 8 hours on it. I only explored two planets. The game gives you the illusion of not being linear, but if it, like for example, early in the game, it will present you with, you can go to either one of these two planets, and the choice is yours. But the real objective that we want you to take is here, So if you take the, and it'll show you, and if you take the other path, sure, you could play on, you could go to the other planet and do the things, and you almost get your character, your companion, that your companions, telling you from the ship. It's like, hey, it might be good to come in here later on or whatever. Like, the game tells you, like, yeah, choose from this planet, but you're not really ready for this one just yet. So of course, within half an hour of playing on that planet, you already encounter a wall, and you can't, pass through because you don't have the powers necessary to go forward. But it's still cool because you still encounter characters on that world and things, that the story will still move in whatever portion was meant to go on that. And another weird thing, the game is surprisingly, it has a surprising amount of customization of your characters and your
Mhm.
ship and your little robot. For I don't know exactly why, but I appreciate it, because you can make your
Something to
character
do.
look different. It's something to do,
Yeah.
something to look
Yeah.
for. But yeah, and it's third person, so obviously you see what you're wearing, and you can customize your lightsaber, even though it's kind of like small. When you got the lightsaber in the hand, you don't, you can't see it. I am excited though that there are actually different types of lightsabers that you can find, and I understand one of them, or maybe it's the only other one. I don't know, but they have shown videos of this already, so I don't know if it's a spoiler, but you could get a double bladed lightsaber. So that's kind of cool, and you can change the colors of your lightsabers, even though I haven't found a crystal yet to change from the blue color that I have. Uh,
Okay.
but I seen people with a yellow lightsaber, and it looks super cool. And I'm like, yes, I want to do that. I want to get my purple lightsaber going on.
I was gonna say, what color are you looking for?
I know
Purple.
I've read, dude, but obviously that they're not gonna give us they probably won't give you that option. Let's just say that it'll be cool if they
Red?
did.
Why not? Just
Because
because it's red
red,
doesn't mean
because crimson red
no.
is, because that's the choice of the empire, of the dark, of the Sith. I mean, I'm just
I
saying
think
it'll probably
I
give it
think
to
I
me.
think we can blur the lines a little bit. I'm just saying.
But I don't, I don't know. The game has done a very good job in its characters. The characters are very interesting. Are people that you kind of care for, what they do, what happened. They're well written.
Hmm.
So yeah, man, it's
Oh,
it needs some patches though. I'm gonna say unless you're a super Star Wars fan already, you're already on the the game, you're already playing it like a bunch of people are. Then that's great. But if you're on the fence, or if you're playing something else for now, you don't have to rush. I just did it because I was getting kind of tired of Death Stranding at one point, but I'm going back and forth actually. Like today, I've been playing back Death Stranding again, and I'll probably, when we're done with the podcast, I'll probably jump back in and finish because I do need to see that game through. So, sir, I extended this section because I wanted to talk about Star Wars definitely, because I feel like a lot of people wanted to know the like, okay, this is an EA game, should I jump in? Should I not? And yeah, it needed to be said. It is a good game, but it has some caveats. Unfortunately, it's not perfect. But I haven't watched anything, and pretty much that's all that I have been doing. So Death Stranding, and Star Wars Respawn of the Jedi.
nice.
You like it?
Nice.
Nice, nice.
Well
Oh,
said,
oh,
sir.
no, actually, this is not original. I think I read it somewhere, but it's ridiculous because when you die in this game, uh, fade to black, and it'll say respawn,
Oh,
and then
wow.
you're back, As in like, oh,
Right on the
really,
nose.
really, guys, like really. Oh man, I wish you would play it, but I understand. No, I should have actually bought and played. Okay, if I buy it and then it's there for you to play it, would you play it? Never mind, never mind. Don't answer that. I know you're a man of strong convictions, and that's super admirable. It's just you're missing out, man. It's a good fucking Star Wars game. You're fucking missing
And you
out.
know what? I called it. I called it when before the game came out. I was like, I don't think this is gonna be a bad game. Matter of fact, I was pretty sure this was actually gonna be a good game because EA doesn't have a choice now. It
No,
was like
not
we
today.
need to make something good, guys. We can't go another holiday moment. So it's like it's almost good out of desperation. And I'm like. I'm sorry, I get it. I mean, it's good, and I'm glad people have it. And they're enjoying it, but it's just like, no, man, I can't, and I honestly don't feel like I'm missing anything, even though I've heard many good things about
it,
it.
it almost feels like all the customization and all there was meant to be monetized maybe early on, and after
Probably,
everything that
yeah.
happened, they're like, you know
You,
what?
you said
No,
you said it
no.
yourself. Man, this has a lot of weird customizations that it's like, I
Like why?
wonder.
Like why are they
I
giving it to me
wonder.
for free? Last time I checked, this is still an EA game.
I wonder. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think we'll ever know, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was already on the horizon. And yep, they had to yank it all out. Just nope, we have no choice with it. And I'm like, hey, that's a good thing for the game because obviously it proves as a good game. But it's like they didn't yank it out because of anything other than we can't fuck up again. You know
No,
what I mean? And
exactly.
I can't support. Okay, I just can't. I'm like, no, that's not the
This
lesson that needs to be learned here. The lesson needs to be we should not do this going forward. You
no.
know what I mean? And I don't think they learned that lesson.
I'll be surprised with because we're probably gonna talk about it on the news if we didn't mention it already. But Anthem 2.0 will come out,
2.0.
and I wonder if they will probably ease up a little bit on the microtransaction. Probably not.
I
Probably
doubt it.
not.
I doubt it. Welcome back, guys, and it is time for our useless news that you can use.
Not to
And,
abuse.
not to abuse, no. We're going. There really isn't much news for the week, believe it or not. And this happens when you get towards the end of the year. But there was quite a well, the biggest, I guess, piece of news would be the Game Awards nominees were released earlier earlier this week.
I mean,
And
mind you, the biggest piece of news after the release of a console, non-console, after the release of a platform, but we're gonna leave that for the topic of the week because
yes,
yeah,
yes,
that is sad that that happened, and it's almost like
it's
yeah,
like
it's like we're done talking. I mean, we are gonna talk about it now on the topic,
yeah,
but like
yeah.
the internet has already said what they need to say.
And they've moved on. They're like, well,
Yeah.
maybe they'll fix it, maybe they won't. Who knows?
Valve came in and said, Half-Life, guys, Half-Life! And suddenly everybody forgot about
exactly.
the freaking Stadia. Oh my
Yes,
God,
that
it's
quick.
hilarious.
All
Yeah.
it took. All it took. Oh man. So the nominees, guys. So I wanted to kind of go through some of these and just kind of think what. First off, kind of, say, do they belong on this list? And then at the same time go, who do we think is going to win and who should win? Maybe it's more important. Not all of them, obviously, but more of the categories that we're kind of into. But let's start right at the top, man.
Yeah,
Game of the year.
this should be interesting because I know I haven't seen the nominees. I only know of one, but I have and to be fair, it has been a decent year. Most people say, "Oh no, it wasn't a good year for gaming." Yes, it freaking was. We got a bunch of awesome games here. A
I
bunch of
think
delays also, but yeah.
Yeah, I think what's missing or what feels like it's missing is that standout, right? The like Red Dead Redemption 2, right? When that game came out, you knew that's going to be on everyone's list is going to include that. Whether it's
Yeah.
going to win or not, that's different, but everyone's list is going to include it. God of War, even to a lesser extent Spider-Man, you don't have that game or it doesn't feel that way. Maybe there is and it just doesn't feel that way, but
We
it's
had it.
interesting.
I feel like we had it. We're forgetting about it. I feel at least there was one game, Anthem. No, I'm kidding.
Anthem would have been it if if it was exactly what they promised. That's the
Yeah.
game that would be leading the list right now. So,
Yeah.
all right, game of the year. Here are the nominees real quick. Control
Oh.
from Remedy, Death Stranding from Kojima Productions, Resident Evil 2 from Capcom, Sekiro from Software, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate from Nintendo, and The Outer Worlds from Obsidian.
Interesting.
Those are your
Wow.
Game of the Year nominees there. And I don't know, bro.
Interesting. I don't
Uh,
know. This is
yeah,
actually this could have been its own topic of the week. You think about it now.
yeah, it could have.
Wow. Okay. So we have, in my opinion, are we doing a list? No, because that would take forever. We were just
No,
saying
not.
which one do we think we're gonna? Okay. So in my opinion, I feel like this year, uh, after having played, a lot of those except for Sekiro, I didn't play Sekiro. I feel like Resident Evil should actually take it, to be honest with you. I feel like
Right.
that's a game that was amazing when it came out, and it still is, but it came so early in the year that it suffers from that. Like, oh, people have forgotten how awesome that game was actually.
I didn't. Yeah, I think that game is amazing. I really do, and I think it's easily of this list is definitely so. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of this list. It's in the top three, easily. So
Because it's trending, because that's trending is way too much of a mess and a divisive game, so I wouldn't necessarily give it to that.
well, I think it's divisive here, which is funny because that's where the Game Awards are basically mostly aired, but but it's divisive here, not so much everywhere else. And
yeah, it's
to be
true.
fair, a lot of
No, it is a
the
good
major
game.
media. No. I'm saying is to be fair is that a lot of the major media sites did give it a good score.
Yeah.
Just IGN that gave it, what a 6.9 or something like that, or I can't remember what he gave it, but
Yeah, 6.5.
I think honestly, I think Resident Evil 2 will be the winner. I think that's the one that's gonna take it. Who should take it would probably be them too out of this list. Um, I don't think it's my game of the year, but it's definitely on the list for it. I would love to see Control take it, but I don't think it has a chance in hell, to be honest with you.
I will, yeah, yeah. I don't think that was a great game, and so is Outer Worlds. I don't think it has what it needs
I don't
to.
think Outer Worlds
Yeah,
is
yeah,
is a game of the year, personally.
yeah.
I think it's a very good game, but I don't think it's
Mm.
game of the year. So yeah,
What about
that's,
Sekiro?
I think Sekiro is excellent,
Mm.
and honestly, sits still kind of on my game of the year. Definitely on my. Do I think it'll take it? No, I don't think. I
You
don't think it
think
has.
it, hands down is gonna be Resident Evil, and they should win also. Cause see, I think Death Stranding gonna end up getting it for uncomfortable reasons. I will say I think that Death Stranding ends up getting it, but it should be it should be Resident Evil hands down.
The
But
yeah.
yeah,
I agree. Well, yeah, I agree. The next one is best action game. Okay.
action.
Action. Yeah. So let's be specific here. For the best game in the action genre, focus primarily on combat, which makes sense. Apex Legends, Astral Chain, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Devil May Cry 5, Gears 5, and Metro Exodus.
I know
So,
which one I want.
oh, you know which one you want? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think personally, I think Call of Duty is probably going to win this.
Mm.
Unfortunately, no, I'm saying they're going to win this. I'm not
Yeah,
saying that's
yeah,
where
yeah.
my vote goes.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Where my vote would go. I mean, I haven't played a lot of these, to be honest with you. If not, honestly, I haven't played. Honestly, I've played Apex Legends. That's it.
Wow.
Of this list.
That game
So
didn't even come out this year,
Apex
right?
Legends. I don't know.
This year?
It
No?
has to come out this year in order for it to be on this list.
Really? Apex Legends came out? I feel like that game's really. You're
Yeah.
probably right. Let me see. Apex Legends release date. When the hell they got released?
It
It
got
got
shadow
released.
dropped.
Huh?
It got like
Re-
shadow dropped at some point, didn't it?
Oh shit! Yeah, February 4th. That was this year. Damn! Wow. Okay. You know what? That changes the whole dynamic then, because I feel like Apex could take this actually. Oh man, but
That's
Call of Duty
honestly
says.
that's where my vote's gonna go because frankly that's all I've played. So,
Wow,
but
wow.
I still think Call of Duty is gonna be the front runner here. I don't think Devil May Cry has a chance. I don't think Gears 5 has a chance in hell to win. And
No.
mostly it's just because it's like that game came and went. Like I forgot.
Yeah.
Somebody brought it up and I was like, oh shit, that did come out. And then I'm thinking that shit came out like a while back. Like no, that shit came out in September. I'm like, damn.
Damn.
That's literally a drop in like this drop in the bucket, and it just happened.
Like
And
it
Metro
doesn't.
Exodus doesn't stand a chance either. So
No, and I'm surprised. Like freaking poor Microsoft. They used to have those marquee titles, those midnight release, marquees, and that doesn't happen anymore. Like, they got a freaking Gears of War came out and it just came and went. And sure, it has. It's not. I'm not saying the flop. It has its player base, but it's nothing like it used to be. And God knows what's gonna happen with Halo. But coming back to this list, man, it is. I believe it is an affront that you have not played Devil May Cry. Of all the people that I remember that they enjoyed the Devil May Cry, at least the old ones. I don't know.
yeah, I was gonna say I'm talking about the old ones, and I just grew off of
But
them. I watched you play this. Remember, I watched you played it at your house, and I was just watching. You're going through a little bit, and I was like, yep, none of this interests me at all.
but this
I,
is
that
but
that
it's
completely
the same.
solidified it.
It is the same Dante though. I mean, it's the same game. It's
It
the same
doesn't
type of
matter.
game.
I don't think what it is. I don't think I ever had that big of a connection
There you go.
to it. I think it was always, oh, this is an awesome hack and slash.
If
That was it, with a little
you know
shooting.
what,
You know
I
what I mean?
can't.
And I think
I don't think hack and slash are your thing, because you don't get excited about any hack and slash. I think
God of War, and that's a hack and slash.
God of War enough. Like this gameplay of this God of War, I appreciate the fact that it didn't feel hack and slashy as before. It still is, and I get it, but yeah, I guess that's the closest. But you know, like I don't hear you get excited about. Well, obviously you're not gonna care about Bayonetta, but Devil May Cry was the one that I was thinking like, okay, he obviously like douchebag Dante, and I've actually came around on douchebag Dante, even though I still think DMC was a much better game. Not that this one, this new one,
No, I got you.
it's pretty amazing. I actually need to go back to it, and now I feel like I need to start it again. That's how much I liked it. So this one, I personally, if you're talking about action game, that should win, but it's not gonna. It's gonna be Apex to me. I think it's gonna be Apex.
Do you think Apex is
Uh,
gonna win?
yeah, I think Apex gonna win. Apex, dude.
That's where my vote's going for specifically. But yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, I think the Apex and Apex should win also because when it came out, it was a big deal, you know.
Something
Uh,
missing from this particular category is something that it doesn't make sense to me. This is where the whole thing starts to kind of fall apart for me sometimes.
Well.
This is an action category.
Mm.
Sekiro, which is nominated for Game of the Year, is pure action game, and with some adventure moments, sure, but you're not really on an adventure. It's
Mhm.
combat all the time.
I
It's
feel
not
like that combat's a lot more methodical. Like I wouldn't call it a Dark Souls game. I mean, I know what you mean, and it makes sense. You know, my head it makes sense. But I think I've grown to divide that to make that distinction of a Dark Souls game, for example, where the combat is kind of slow and methodical. Yes, when you're attacking it, obviously that's action, and that could look really cool. But it's almost like calling a fighting game an action game just because the fight, there's a lot of fighting. You know what I mean?
just combat. Yes.
Yes, combat. Yeah, I feel like it has this distinction. I don't know what we will call that. You know, to be
Actually, I
fair.
think honestly, it's the very next category. Now that I look at it,
Oh God.
action adventure game.
There
And this
you
explains it. For the best action adventure game, combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. And
There
guess
you
what's on
go.
the list? Sekiro. So I take everything I just said.
that's yeah. I feel like that's exactly where. Yeah, bro, this is Jeff Keighley. He knows what he's doing. Come on, have a little faith.
Okay.
Have a little
Hey.
on the
I get it.
Keighley,
I
all
get it.
right?
On the Keeley.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the
So
Doritos Pope.
on the on the action adventure game, you got Sekiro. You've got Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening for Nintendo, Capcom's Resident Evil 2, Kojima's Death Stranding, and Remedy's Control, and Gearbox's Borderlands 3. My vote goes to Sekiro. 'Cause that's where my heart lies. So.
Because you finally placed it somewhere. It found its identity.
Found its identity.
It's an interesting one because I mean I did not play Sekiro, but I believe in your conviction on it. So if you said it should win, it probably should. Um, I'm kind of surprised that Jedi is not there, but it was probably too late, right? Or
Yeah.
maybe
No,
it didn't make the cut. Maybe just they saw the bugs and they were like, nope, this is not material.
I think it got it. Honestly, I think it got it to like considering how high a lot of these sites are on it. I think it makes because the cut literally it was released on the deadline, which was November 15th.
Number 15, right?
So released on the deadline to cast a vote basically.
So
Now a lot
it's-
of these sites get it earlier, but I don't think they got this one very early, probably because it wasn't ready. Otherwise they probably would have given it to them, with enough time to have it.
But I feel like I feel like the review came. The review came. Didn't the review for this one came a week in advance?
No, I don't think so.
No,
I didn't
no,
see it.
I could be
No,
wrong on
don't
that
think
one. Okay, all right. Yeah, but you're probably right. I mean, to be fair, they could have looked at the state of the game and be like, well, this other titles are, a little bit more polished, or I don't know, or maybe just didn't like it.
Yeah.
It could
That's
be.
true too. Yeah, it could
Yeah,
be. I mean, in comparison
because
with everything else, maybe. Yeah.
I feel like, aside from Sekiro, because I didn't win, I feel like I would put this one as the winner. And with the little bit that I played so far, just because of the sheer level of fun that I have in traversing and doing this stuff, and of course the reviews have been very positive on that too. But yeah, that on that list, I mean, you're right. It's probably Sekiro if I had to guess.
That's where mines go. What I think is going to win on this list, action adventure, is probably going to be
The Stranding.
Death Stranding or Resident Evil 2 again.
Resident Evil should win this one, actually. Yeah. Man,
Again, another one where I'm like, I would love to see Control win, but I don't think it's going to win.
no, hey, you know what? Hold on, let me think. Traverse on it. Yeah, you know what? I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. I can see where would this actually, where Control takes it. Over, let me see, over Sekiro. Over, I didn't play Sekiro, so I just don't know. You probably will tell me, you'll be able to tell me the better. And if you say no, then no. So I guess that's that.
All right.
That's
Next one.
That's how I solved it in my head.
That's how you put it all together. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Next one is art direction presented by Samsung QLED. Art direction. The what?
Don't do the sponsors, please.
I have to because they're so funny on some of them. Anyway, Control, Remedy's Control, Kojima.
Brought to you by
Death Stranding. Nice. This is a good one. Nomada Studios Greece. Sayonara Wild Hearts from Sigmodo. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice from Software, and Legend of Zelda's Link Awakening. Let me go back to the category. Art direction. For outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. Okay, so if that's the case, I don't think some of these even go here. Like I would not think art direction when I'm thinking of Sekiro. It has good moments, but
maybe it does have a cool art direction. And, maybe you're thinking more like style, like
Well, it does say a technical achievement in artistic design. That would be the same thing as
technical achievement in artistic design. Like Death Stranding could win this, just because of because that game not only is a technical marvel, but the design of a lot of the items, a lot of things that you presented there. They are done like gorgeous. They're beautiful. Actually, I kind of hesitate when I'm saying that.
I feel like Death Stranding is almost photorealistic, is what they're going for, and I'm like, that's not really that creative.
Well, that's technical achievement. That's what I'm thinking. They went
the
creative route. No, but at the same time, I'm kind of hesitant on Death Stranding because. Yes, for the fact that there's a lot of things that look crazy and amazing, but I feel like that's a lot of like CGI and animation when you actually go to the game. Yes, it looks beautiful, but it is still kind of an empty world and kind of a crappy place. So, like,
I would go here. I would go. I think of the list that has probably more artistic design or technical achievement. It says creative and or technical achievement. So it can be creative or technical, but the one that I can see the stands out would be Control, Grease,
and
Link's Awakening.
Control looked amazing. Link's Awakening, yeah. Control, I played that game ray traced, so you would think that it would have blown my mind. And yes, it looked gorgeous, but compared to some of the games on this list, I wouldn't put it on. I don't think it has the chops. Honestly, I think this is probably.
I think Death Stranding is going to win, but I don't think it should.
Yeah, I don't think it should. I'd
love to see Grease win, but I don't think that's going to win.
I don't know that one.
Grease, that's the one with the.
Oh, Grease, yes.
Grease,
yes.
Yeah, Grease.
Yes. Dude, yes. That actually, yeah, you're right. This one. They'll probably give it to Death Stranding, but Grease should win this one. Just because I mean this is a creative. Let me put it this way: it leans more on the creative
Mhm.
than Death Stranding leans on the technical. You know, the game, the Stranding game, yes, it looks amazing, but I almost feel like a lot of those shots, honestly, they feel like just straight out graphic pandering. You know,
Yeah. Oh
like
yeah,
they
yeah, absolutely.
it
Like
it
when
is
he's in front of the mirror, and I'm just like, what are we doing here?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's like this
Or
is.
or the weird when characters are talking to you and for some reason they do a fucking close up of their faces, like who shoots like that? You know, what cinema do you shoot like that? And it looks like, oh, they just try to show you how amazing the facial animation and everything is. You know, like I told you, the game it doesn't lose an attempt to show you what a technical marvel it is. But that's coming up more like almost like a technical demo rather than
Yeah,
something like
tech
beautiful
demo.
and
Yep.
artistic. Yeah, like it will be Gris. So yeah, Gris, you win this. And if it doesn't, I'm gonna riot.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm gonna give him the riot act.
All right, the next one is audio design, recognizing best in-game audio and sound design, and we got Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Control, which I do like the sound design of Control. Death Stranding, of course, because it's everywhere. Gears 5, I don't know. Resident Evil 2, I think also definitely has some great sound design, particularly with the creatures and everything. I really, you know what? Yeah, I think yeah, that was a good one. And then Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which was good, but I don't think stood out. And I can't remember anything standing out. If there's one thing that stands out to me is the sound effect in Control when you grab something to throw it. When you do
Mhm.
the I was going to call it a force grab, but it's not really a force grab. It's a
No, but
it's
it
a
is. But it
telekinesis force grab, right? That's that sound effect that happens was so satisfying every time I heard it. So,
You want to
and then
hear
the
about
rest,
satisfying sound effects? How about all the clicks and blips and bloops on Death Stranding? They're almost tailor made to be like almost ASMR. You know, like I don't know. They have a quality to it where every click on the menu, every sound, it's almost very satisfying. I'm not saying it's the best or anything like that. I honestly don't think it should win this category. You know, now if we were talking about soundtrack, then we might be having a different conversation. But as far as technical achievement in sound, it had to be Call of Duty because from what I've seen, I don't own the game, but I've seen actually lots of video. Um, not to mention, I saw that it was $38 on Walmart the other day, and I almost jumped at it. And then I remember, yeah, but it's just gonna be the campaign, and I can just save that money. So, but that game's the shots, the weapons on that game, they sound incredible. They really like. I feel like this year they really nailed down, the sound of those guns. And of course, when you're in the campaign, overall, the action pieces, the orchestra, those moments, uh, they are achieved through all that that aural experience that you get overall.
yeah,
So I really believe Call of Duty, is gonna win this one, and it should win it because of how amazing it sounds.
interesting. Okay. All right. That's the design. Community support. I don't know if we want to get into. This is recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness.
Anthem,
Yeah.
Fallout 76. No, I'm kidding.
We got Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. I think we all
That's
know
fine.
who's going
It's
to win,
it's
but
Fortnite.
yeah, I was gonna say,
Oh,
I'm like, yeah.
it's
I
like,
mean, you
why
can't
even
even
why
argue.
even have this? Yeah,
Yeah, you can't even argue. They do support the shit out of that damn thing. You know what I mean? And
no doubt.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Next few categories. I think we could skip over content creator of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know any of these people. Esports coach. Nope.
Yeah.
Esports event. Nope. Esport
Nope.
game of the year.
Who
Mm,
cares?
pretty much the same ones as last year. Okay.
Yeah.
Esports host of the year. Really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh,
Esports player.
yeah,
Esports
straight.
team.
They're
Oh,
they're stretching this out a little bit. It's
yeah.
like, yeah.
Well, a lot of these, I don't know if you ever watched it, but a lot of these get like you see the nominees and they don't do the whole thing on stage. It's like it presents, hey,
Oh
back
yeah.
from the break or something like that. This is who won this and this and this. Family game. Here we go. For the best game appropriate for family play, you've got Luigi's Mansion 3,
Mm-hmm.
Ring Fit Adventure, Super Mario Maker 2, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, and Yoshi's Crafted World. I think the one that will win will be
I was
Luigi's
I,
Mansion because
I was literally gonna make the joke and I restrained myself and now I regret it. That this entire category is only gonna be full of Nintendo titles.
yeah, it is. Because
Only.
even that Ring Fit challenge is that silly ring thing that they have for the Switch.
Yeah.
So, in other words, best Nintendo game, we're gonna go with
I'm gonna give it to Super Smash Brothers because it
yeah,
is fucking Super Smash Brothers. Let's be
I'm just
real.
saying,
And it
that
should
one.
win, even though I understand that Luigi's Mansion is really cool and all. Well, actually,
There may be
it's
a little
family.
recency bias in that. So
Family.
who
Hmm.
knows? Because that game
Yeah.
just came out, so that may be fresh in people's minds.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
opposed to Smash Brothers, which technically came out last year, but it came out after the deadline. So
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. I
yeah,
think it should be.
quite a predicament.
I think it should be. I mean, I will give it. I will give it. Let's put it this way. I will give it to Super Smash Brothers because of what it is. But it could very well be Luigi's Mansion.
We just mentioned, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Next category, fighting game. Best fighting game. We've got Dead or Alive 6, Jump Force.
Oh. What?
We've got Mortal Kombat 11, Samurai Showdown, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I think Mortal Kombat 11 wins this.
Without a doubt. That is,
Agree.
it wins and it should. Wins and it should.
I agree. We've got fresh indie game. This is recognizing the new independent studio that released their first game in 2019, presented by Subway. It is ZAUM for Disco Elysium, Nomada Studio for Greece, Dead Toast Entertainment for my friend Pedro, Mobius Digital for Outer Wilds. And we've got Mega Crit for Slay the Spire and House for Untitled Goose Game.
Oh God. Untitled fucking goose. No house party, huh?
No.
Oh, that's right. That game has not been released fully just yet. Okay, that's fine.
That's
Maybe
still
next
maybe.
year, guys. Maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
I
think will win here is going to be Outer Wilds.
What?
Yeah, I think that's who's going to.
No, sir.
Who do you think?
Disco Elysium by a country mile. This is.
Oh, I think that should win.
Yeah.
Disco Elysium, right? Because I mean that seems to be, but I think it's so. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know.
It's not mainstream.
I think it may not be mainstream enough for it to slip by. That's the
I don't
reason why
even
I
know
don't
what.
think it's gonna.
No, but I don't even know what Outer Wilds is. I mean, I know of the joke that it's not Outer Wilds, it's Outer Worlds when we were talking about Outer Worlds, and we wanted to say Outer Wilds, but I don't know what Outer Wilds is.
Oh, it's a game that came out. I think it's actually. Well, I guess maybe that'll hurt it too. But I think if I'm not mistaken, it's PC and Xbox only. But it is big on PC. So, but who knows? I mean, Disco Elysium also is big on PC at the moment, so maybe. But I think Outer Wilds does do it.
Really?
It'll probably be between the two of them. Disco Elysium can also get a bump for being released just recently. You know what I mean? So it has that again recency bias.
I see. I see what it. Yeah. I see the game. Yeah. And no man. I think yeah. Well, this people are there's people that are not freaking out, but they're talking extremely highly about this particular game and what it has achieved and this and that. I'm like, really? I'm gonna have to pay attention to it. Uh, and I looked at videos on it, and it does look really cool. I don't know if I will, if I will grab it, but if we're looking for an indie game that came out that has impressed a lot of people, I will have to give it to them, and it should win because it looks sort of amazing. Have you seen it?
I have. I was telling you that I was like, man, I can't wait for that to come to console. I
Yeah.
want to get it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You were like, I didn't know that was something you were looking into, but
Yeah,
uh,
it totally looks like it looks like a PC ass PC game.
PC, yeah, very
Yeah,
PC ass PC game. Yep,
yeah.
exactly. Next one is game direction. We've got Control, Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, the same old guys here. Sekiro. Oh, Outer Wilds comes from game direction.
Oh, interesting.
Considering it's game direction and basically usually talks about the game director. There's only one game director in Death Stranding, so I'm pretty sure that's who's gonna win.
Really? Because
I'm
that
positive that's
I
gonna
feel
win.
like this game direction, it feels like this game is directionless. It feels like it's just I mean, if that is the spirit of this category, right? Um there was another, what was it?
Awarded for outstanding creative vision
Uh-huh.
and innovation in game direction and design. I would love, like, if my
I
vote
don't know,
here
man.
would probably go to Control because I really do love Control,
I
but I
think
still
in
think
this one I'll give it to Control and it should win. I
it
think
should. But I still think Death Stranding is gonna win.
oh
It
no,
should.
man. I feel
Yeah,
like
it should.
of all the categories that this one has been, like, this is the least one that I think it'll apply, just because of, yes, I mean, there's you could make a game look amazing and have all these crazy ideas, but if at the end of the day they're falling flat because they're not really connecting, which again, hilarious that a game about connecting does not and so many references to, like, every city is called something not city,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
something not,
It's too on the nose. As I was saying before, it's like it's a
oh,
little too on the nose
that's what I'm
with
saying.
everything.
I feel like the direction on this, it's the execution has been poor, like extremely poor. It feels so random for randomness sake. Like there's no way that I see this ending putting everything together to. I mean, and I have thought of different things. I have even thought, like, well, this is a different this is a different universe of the multiverse, and at some point we're gonna fall into the reality, and the reality is none of the crazy bullshit and it's all connected to the beach and whatever the hell that means. But no, man, none of that, none of that.
I, s- I don't know because I'm not that far in.
Oh, and
And I still
this is totally random. I have not, nothing of what I said, by the way, is because, oh, I saw something that maybe makes me think about it. No,
no, no,
I
no, I got
literally
you.
just came up
You're
with the
just
most
pulling from
random
you're
thing I
pulling
could
from
come up with.
strands almost.
There you go. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
I'm
thank you.
pulling strings here. I don't know. Oh
All
my
right,
God,
next one
man.
is Games for Impact, which is all about thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. Concrete Genie, Grease, Kind Worlds, which I never heard of, Life is Strange 2, and Sea of Solitude.
It should be
My vote
Greece.
here goes with Grease. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it should be
Uh,
Greece.
Best independent game for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. Baba is You, Disco Elysium, Katana
Mhm.
Zero,
Oh shit.
Outer Wilds, and Untitled Goose Game. So my vote here goes for Katana Zero because
It
it's
needs
really the only one I played.
it needs
So,
to go. No, I think it's what's the first one you said to mention?
Baba is You,
No, what's the second one?
Disco Elysium.
It should be Disco
Oh,
Elysium. I hear this
it
one.
probably is, bro.
Yeah.
It probably. I get. I mean, I would assume,
Yeah.
but if I have to look at it based on what I've played, I love Katana Zero, and
Katana
I
was great.
thought it was
Yeah,
great.
definitely, definitely
I,
great.
I'm gonna skip mobile game because I don't care. Uh, Multiplayer game: Apex Legends, Borderlands 3, Call of Duty: Modern Warfare, Tetris 99, and Tom Clancy's The Division 2. I
I'm
don't
sorry,
know.
sir. I missed the thing. One more time, please. What's the name of it?
Multiplayer. Oh,
Oh,
multiplayer game.
multiplayer game. Okay.
Yes.
And the
I'm gonna
category
go
is
with
again.
Apex Legends for my vote here, but I don't think it's gonna win over the rest of them. Tom
What?
Clancy's The Division 2. Oh, the rest of them was Apex Legends, Borderlands 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Tetris 99, and The Division 2.
It's sad because I, I had a lot of fun with Division 2. Division was probably like I'm surprised that it's making my list just because of how much fun I have with that game. And how much time I put on it. But just like that, I dropped it also. So I guess that's that goes both ways.
That's something too.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's gonna end up being Call of Duty. Let's be real. Multiplayer game.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah.
you can't dethrone. You, I
Biggest
mean,
multiplayer game
and it
of
doesn't
the year.
of the year. Yeah, they didn't say Fortnite.
No,
So
they didn't.
yeah,
They didn't put that in. Yeah.
yeah.
Best narrative for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. A
Oh,
Plague Tale: Innocence,
oh.
Control, Death
Mm.
Stranding, Disco
LOL.
Elysium, Disco Elysium, and The Outer Worlds.
Oh, of course you're gonna have that world. That's trying to get the fuck out of here, Kelly. Come on, let's be real. Wow. That's a toughie because I did not play. I did not play. I did not play. Uh, a
Plague Tale?
Plague
That's
Tale,
one of my
but I
votes.
I know you did, and you really liked it. The story. Um, Outer Worlds. I know the narrative the I guess the gameplay of it, the narrative's cool, but I don't know if the story sticks. And you beat it, and you're not mentioning it, so it kind of cements my thoughts. Um,
I honestly, that's where my vote goes. Oh,
to
you talking about
Outer
Outer
Worlds,
Worlds? No, no, no. I'm sorry. It goes to Plague. Yeah, Plague Tale. I'm sorry.
Plague
For the
Tale,
Outer
yeah,
Worlds, no, no, no. It's.
yeah.
I mean, it was okay, but nothing. It really wasn't anything to write home about.
No, no.
Unfortunately.
What were the other ones that you mentioned?
Control, Death Stranding, and Disco Elysium.
Yeah, Disco Elysium. I just heard so many strong things about the story on it but I haven't played it, so I really can't. I can't put
Ditto.
my, I can put my vote there. Uh, Death Stranding, lol, like really, you know, I think Pac-Man has more story than Death Stranding does. If we're trying to make something logical. Um, and Control, I'm not sure that what I played, I will call it. Control was certainly entertaining, but I don't think the stronghold was its
His
story.
narrative. No,
Is
it was more its mystery.
Yeah,
And the gameplay. The gameplay and
yeah,
its mystery were what kept me in there, not the narrative. The narrative was okay by the end. It was fine. It was nothing. It was a simple. It was actually a lot more simple narrative than it led on to be at
yeah,
the beginning.
yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, so
Uh,
I think you're right. I think I will share Plague Tale with you just because of what you've said.
cool.
And I know you have a lot more insight on those type of games. Like you could appreciate a story on a game even if the gameplay itself is not quite there.
Mhm.
Not to say that the gameplay. I mean, I saw Plague Tale the gameplay looked really good.
Yeah, that's good
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Best ongoing game: Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. I think it's obvious where that's gonna go.
Yeah. Next
Perform-
one.
Best performance. I don't know if you want to go through this. Ashley Birch as Parvati, from Outer Worlds.
Wait, that was Ashley Birch?
That was Ashley Birch. Yeah.
That's true. That was her. No wonder. Fuck. I love Ashley Birch, evidently. Even
I think so.
I
think
think
so.
I'm a fan. I did not, mind you, I did not care for Aloy as a character, but not because of not because of Ashley Birch's performance. Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn. I think it was more the way that the character was written in general. And it's not to say that it was bad. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm saying I particularly do not enjoy her very much. But obviously, the performance was great, and the performance of Parvati is, it's I love that character, dude. You know
Me too.
that
Me too. In the
there-
end, I had her with me almost all the time. Almost
Parvati
all. The only time I didn't is from Pavardi, yeah, from the Outer Worlds. Yeah, I
from
had
the
her
other,
in my party pretty much the entire time.
yeah.
Yeah, I would switch somebody else. Like if I needed something, I would switch somebody else out. But Pavardi was always my right hand person.
I almost give it a
Courtney Hope.
pass here.
Oh, go ahead. I'm
Uh,
sorry.
no, no, I was just gonna say I almost said, oh, skip this category, but now that you said that, it's like, no, oh no, I'm on. I need to see who's gonna try to throw my girl here.
Oh, okay. So Courtney Hope, who plays Jesse Faden from Control, which she was okay.
She was
Laura Bailey, who plays Kate Diaz from Gears 5. Mads
she was not
Mikkelsen,
okay.
Mads Mikkelsen, who plays Cliff from Death Stranding.
I don't
We've
even
got
I don't think I met.
he's the one where he's the one you see through BB's eyes.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Mads
Yeah,
Mikkelsen.
the actor. Yeah, this
Yeah.
guy. Yeah, yeah. No, no. Next.
Yeah. Matthew Porretta, who plays Dr. Casper Darling in Control. I liked his performance. It was good, but I don't think he
he
takes
was
it up.
he was kind of, yeah, he was kind of silly almost, and not necessarily in a funny way. He was almost kind of like cheesy,
Yeah, but it
yeah.
was on
Okay.
purpose, and that was what made it.
True.
That was what made it good. Yeah, he was doing it on purpose.
Okay.
Uh, and the last one here, which is god awful choice. I don't even know how he got on here. Norman Reedus as Sam Porter Bridges.
Sure. The one that barely talks.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, he's not. Well, okay, whatever.
It's
That's,
what it's dude. It's yeah. No, no, not Norman Reedus. Come on. I think we already know who should and better win.
should win. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Best role. Excuse me. Best role playing. Apologies, my got a little scratch in my throat recently.
Oh,
Best role playing game. We got Disco Elysium, Final Fantasy 14, Kingdom Hearts 3, which I forgot that shit came out this year.
I
Monster
know.
Hunter World Iceborne,
Oh shit.
and The Outer Worlds.
Oh,
This
shit.
one would
RPGs.
be
Come
the
on.
one. Yeah, I was
Come
gonna say this one would be the one where I'm like, yeah, I think The Outer Worlds should take this one.
Hands down. Absolutely. Not to say the contenders weren't great, but we're talking about RPG as RPG. I mean, come on.
Mhm. It's
This
yeah.
is this is what these people do. What's their name?
City.
Obsidian. That's what they do. Come on, guys.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Next category: score and music for outstanding music, inclusive of score, original song, and/or licensed soundtrack. You've got Cadence of Hyrule, interesting choice. I like that. Death Stranding, okay.
Yeah.
Devil May Cry 5, Kingdom Hearts 3, and Sayonara Wild Hearts.
I did not. I have not heard the soundtrack of Sayonara Wild Hearts,
I've heard
but
it's good, but I haven't heard it yet.
I haven't heard it. I can attest, however, to the soundtrack of Death Stranding. I
As
do.
can I.
I
Because I love it when the song pops on. Oh,
dude.
it just makes it wonderful.
It's so good when you're walking, especially it tends to happen a lot when you're nearing a new base, and it throws that mellow song, that melancholic song, whatever it is, and it's just, I mean, it, like, it's not meant to move, to be, catchy or anything like that. It's meant to show, to make you feel, the drabness and the sadness of this world and the state that it is. But it does it so beautifully that even for the simplistic thing of just reaching a base with packages, it makes it
Yeah.
like part of, like, almost like if it was playing Stand By Me or some shit like that. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, it's so good. And every song that it plays, I like it. Like, I've already Shazam. I already own one of the songs. I Shazammed it. I loved it. The name of the song is called Pop Virus, and it is It's very catchy. It's very cool. I do like that one. That one's probably one of the more you know uh more faster rhythm if I can
Mhm.
describe it like that.
Gotcha.
More pop.
Yeah,
More pop.
that's where my vote would go as well.
Death Stranding
Um,
for
yeah.
sure. Yes.
Let's quickly go through this one here, only because it includes a sports/racing game. You have Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, Dirt Rally 2.0, Evo Soccer, F1 2019, and FIFA 20. Uh, I think the winner
They
is
should
pretty
give it.
obvious.
They should obviously give it to Death Stranding on this one.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised we're even talking about this. Jeez,
I
moving
know,
on.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, the next one is best strategy game. I don't know any of these, but I'll just throw them out there. Age of Wonders, Planetfall, then Anno, 1800, and then Fire Emblem Three Houses, uh,
Right now.
Total War Three Kingdoms, Tropical 6, and War Groove. I have no horse in this race, sir. So
I played Three Houses. That game should not win.
okay.
Sorry, but yeah, I will have to go with Anno because I know the type of game it is and it looks really good, but I haven't played it myself, so what do I know?
What do we know? Yeah. And the last one is best VR/AR game, which again, no horse in the race. So those are all the nominees, and that was the longest news
Piece of
piece.
news. It might as well be. It could have easily been a topic on. I
It
don't.
could have. It
Yeah,
could have.
yeah. Wow. All right. Well, awesome. Well, how do I follow that? Okay. Well, I know with what. Um. Hey guys, Half Life. Half Life here. Thank you. Good night.
Yep. Half-Life's
Yeah.
coming out. Half-Life 3. It's
Half
happening.
Life. Yeah, that's not exactly what they said. They said half. This is evidently the story is that this was meant to be probably like a release probably at the Game Awards, like a surprise, but it got leaked out and Valve was like, yeah man, whatever, just yeah, we're doing Half-Life Alex, all right, and it's a VR title, which immediately made me go from like to oh. Of course, it's gonna be a VR title, and people on the internet are flipping their shit with excitement for this. Like, I could definitely like if the message was, "Hey, we need to have a killer app to sell more VRs." Well, here we go. Valve might have actually saved VR with this because like everybody's the excitement levels are through the roof for a game that when from what I've seen doesn't look any different from, I mean, it looks higher production values
Mhm.
of all the same experiences that we have gotten on VR already, I shooting gallery almost type of thing, cocking the gun so you can fire. It's like that has been done to death in VR already. Like, but then again, what else would it have been, right? I'll tell you what it could have been. It should have been a proper sequel to Half-Life, but it wasn't. But that's fine because I gotta admit it does look cool. If I was into VR, I'll be like super stoked for this also. So I can understand. I can understand. Uh, so the story is come from Tokutaku. It says, Half-Life Alex, you might be dismayed to learn, is definitely not Half-Life 3. So I love the fact that they open with that. By the way, it's not Half-Life 3. But a new full-length Half-Life game, Valve said, and it'll be out in March. In a press release, Valve said the games, first announced early this week, to surprise, confusion, and memes from fans, uh, have been designed from the ground up for virtual reality, but it's still very much a Half-Life game in what it features: world exploration, puzzle solving, visual combat, and and an intricately woven story that connects all of its characters iconic to the Half-Life universe. By the way, this game it takes place between Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2, which
So definitely
is
not Half-Life 3. It's really more 1.5.
it's it's definitely what, but then finishing Half-Life and beginning Half-Life 2, like those games are not really that connected. I mean, it's connected in the sense that yeah, you play as Gordon Freeman, but like the things that happen on one and then the way it jumps you into Half-Life 2, it's almost like two. It might as well be in a space of 1,000 years, because it doesn't look like the world of Half-Life 1 does not look like the world of Half-Life 2. Maybe that was the whole point, but like yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
So it says Alex Vance, who's the title character, and her father Eli secretly mount the resistance to the brutal occupation of Earth by a mysterious alien race known as the Combine. Reads the game description. As Alex, players take the fight to the Combine to save the future of humanity. And then it says, despite ostensibly being a killer app for Valve's own VR headset, the Valve Index, Half-Life Alyx will be compatible with all PC-based VR headsets when it releases on March of 2020. And then there was an update. I believe it was on an interview on IGN. Valve designer and programmer Robin Walker said that some former members of Firewatch Studios Camposanto, hired by Valve last year, ostensibly hired by Valve last year, ostensibly to continue working on their next game, in the Valley of God, are working on Half-Life Alyx. So they actually got Camposanto Studios working on this new title. I also saw an update, which is the one I thought that I was going to read. Oh, here we go, actually. Some members of the former Camposanto studio are on the team, and they brought the storytelling skills that honed Firewatch to bear on Half-Life Alyx. So that's good to hear. No, what's the status of Valley of the Gods? I don't know. But I was reading a portion where it was talking about, oh, this is not the last game in the Half-Life universe. We are reviving this IP again. And that got me excited because then that could show a real possibility of ever seeing a Half-Life 3. I mean, I don't really know if I want a Half-Life 3 at this time because I don't think, as amazing as it could be,
it's not going to live up to the expectations.
To
no
the hype.
way.
To the hype. It's did you know that Half-Life 2 was the first game and the only game that have been released they have ever gotten an 11 out of 10 from PC Gamer magazine. Literally, they published
that says it all.
An 11 out of 10 for Half-Life 2.
That says it all. There's no at this point the game, the swelling of desire for people to get for gamers to get the part 3 of this game is so high at this point. It has to be perfect, and even then, I mean, because it has to be literally perfect.
Yeah.
And even then, it may not make back, because at this point, you look at. I've never played Half-Life 2, but I have seen a lot of gameplay because I was curious about it. It still looks good, but it is an older game. You know what I mean? So you're gonna have to bring all that whatever into a beautiful world that you have to design from the ground up, and obviously you can't include any type of microtransactions or other, because that will seriously
that will hinder it.
Piss the hell out of you, right? So that means
because you're Valve, you don't need money.
True, you don't need money. You also want to invest and get your money back, and that you want to get back what you get. So you have to hit it. It has to be perfect, and it won't. It's just the odds of it happening are against it. It's completely against it.
Yeah.
So,
but I'll be happy with the
shameful
like
part
this
is that it left an it left in a cliffhanger, which is really what
Yes.
sucks. It's like it honestly, this is all Valve's fault because you waited too long. At
Mhm.
this point, they shouldn't even they shouldn't even bother. They should not
No.
even bother. Just and everybody who's wishing for it should just let that hope go because it's just if it does happen, it's not going to live up to the expectations. So
Well, it's almost silly that they're releasing this one. They're not calling it Half-Life 3. They're calling it Half-Life Alex, and it's coming on VR. It's almost it's almost like they realize that, yeah, nothing that we could do, not even if we bring this world into VR and make it a full-fledged a game, not a VR experiment or a tech demo. No, this game is meant to be as long as Half-Life 2 was, which was, by for the type of game that it is, a long ass fucking game,
hmm
for a first-person shooter. Um, and so it's almost like they realize they'll never be able to do that. So they don't want to run the risk. They're calling this one Alex, and then let's see how this one goes. Um, maybe, maybe once this passes, and if this becomes to be amazing, and it actually sells very well, and it sells VR headsets, especially their own VR headsets, you can bet that they're gonna be tackling, the next one will have to be Half-Life 3, and something cool. Did you know, sir, or if you remember, well, you never played the second Half-Life 2, but Half-Life 2 alluded to connection with the world of Portal, right? You
hmm
know that it's the
Yes.
same universe, right?
Yeah, I
So
remember hearing that.
even though Portal is kind of like a silly joke of a thing, kind of like, but it's meant to be the
It was a
same
tech demo,
universe.
yeah.
So, well, the first one was the second one
hmm
is an amazing game. Um, Actually, the first one was an amazing game too. What am I saying?
Yeah, I
But
was gonna say
still,
they're both amazing, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. The scope of it, but the Half-Life 3 to me, the killer thing will be maybe, or what I'm thinking the killer thing could be is maybe implementing the usage of that portal gun in solving puzzles in Half-Life 3. That would be amazing. I mean,
That would
and totally.
be amazing, and that would be the only way, right? Because it's like now we're going to answer the question that Half-Life 3 left, Half-Life 2 left, excuse me, and we're going to combine the worlds. We know that we get it. Everybody knows, but no, we're going to really combine them now. You know what I mean? And so something like that, maybe, but it has
Yeah,
to be great. It has to be
it
great.
has
It
to be.
can't,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
can't be half-assed. And not to say that Valve will half-ass anything. I'm just saying it cannot be. They have to
They,
really, so
they can't half-ass Half-Life.
it can't half-ass Half-Life. No.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, the next news piece. You want to take it over?
Oh, like I said, I didn't really find much news, but this will be my last piece. Resident Evil 3 remake planned for 2020. Uh,
Oh snap!
yes, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis remakes is in the works from Capcom, according to two new reports. It will reportedly release in 2020. Capcom released the remake of Resident Evil 2 this year, which was received warmly, obviously, by fans of the franchise. Given how difficult it is to play Resident Evil 3 at this very moment, fans have hoped for a remake of the game for a while. According to YouTube channel called Spawnwave, a remake of that game is not only currently in development, but on track for a 2020 release. The major European games outlet Eurogamer confirmed as much with their sources, reporting this morning that they also have heard of this project. So yeah, so it looks like not only is it happening, it is right there, my friend.
High Life 2. I mean Half-Life. I keep saying Resident Evil 2 show that there was hunger for
For that,
for the treatment. Yeah, for the treatment of those older titles, and it sold very well. So
extremely
yeah,
well.
it makes
Extremely well. Yeah.
it makes sense that they remake Resident Evil 3, and that probably be amazing. Now, do they remake Resident Evil 4?
No, no,
You
they
think
don't
they
need
skip?
to.
You think they skip to 5?
I
Oh
mean, I'm sure
God,
they
no.
will. I'm sure they will. So let me turn that around and say I'm sure they will. Do they need to? No, they don't need to.
No, I'm sure. I mean, if we're talking about remake, then no game is even Resident the jewel that is Resident Evil 4, even that will need to be touched somehow. Changed, not touched. Actually, change. Will have to remake it.
Hmm.
Fine, give us that experience a little bit different. A little bit more elaborated. Even though that game was you know close to perfect as it is. But uh, maybe you'll have the zombie guys scream "Cabrón" a little bit less, maybe.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
Maybe
or
that'd
"Un
be.
forastero," whatever the hell that means.
Hmm.
So yeah, 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 and then Resident Evil 5, we can just forget that game happened, and
Yeah.
obviously Resident Evil 6, like that's retcon that shit, like make something completely different.
Yeah.
It never happened like this. That's Resident Evil Legends.
Exactly.
Let's call them that. Let's see. Piece of news that I'm personally very excited to see, and I can't wait to go back to this game to play it. And it's that Playground Games announced that Toyota will be returning to the Forza Horizon series next month.
Ooh.
The much loved 1998 Toyota Supra RZ will be available for Forza Horizon 4 as part of the series 17 update on December 12th. Wow, they have updated. I do need to go. I love that series. The news came via a fun reveal at the end of the team's latest update live stream, and was repeated via their official Forza Motorsports Twitter account. It was kind of weird that of all the car manufacturers, Toyota had this thing where they're like, nope, we're not licensing the games, and no explanation as to why. So it's like, cause you remember seeing Toyota's on Gran
Mhm.
Turismo, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know what the thing with that was.
And
Especially
we
on,
may never know at this point.
and we may
You
never
know what I
know
mean?
now with the
Yeah.
story. It looks like, okay, whatever it was, they got resolved.
Yeah, they fixed it. Like, oh, okay, I guess everything's fine now.
We're cool. But yeah, that's because even as I was playing that, be playing the Forza game, it always felt very weird to be in a world where Toyota did not exist. There was nothing Toyota. It's like that's not that's not racing for real. That's not realistic. Um, Amazon's game streaming service to work with Twitch may be revealed next year. There's a report. Amazon is currently hiring for its ambitious game streaming services, set to be targeted a 2020 launch. Early this year, a report from the Information, that's what it's called, revealed that Amazon is working on a game streaming service. So it was very clear. So it was very early days at that time. The report suggested that the company was already in talks with big publishers. Now, a new report from CNET says that things are moving forward with the project, with Amazon planning to announce the service next year. The report also revealed that Amazon's AWS cloud service will be powering it, and that the company plans to integrate it with Twitch, much the same way the Google and Stadia will take advantage of YouTube for some unique experiences. Sir, it's on.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
yeah,
Talking like Donkey Kong.
they are. Every company now wants to have a streaming strategy, because I guess that's the next frontier for gaming, right? Getting
Hmm.
your games on any screen. Like I said, I love the idea of it. I just I thought that of all the companies, Google could pull this off, and they obviously failed. I mean, I forgot. I overestimated, their logistics, because Man, it was a nightmare, and we're gonna be talking about that. Stay tuned for the hot topic of the week coming in. Because last thing I want to bring up is the fact that, sir, you'll be excited to know, because I know you're a fan of this series.
Mm.
Street Fighter V Champion Edition is coming out. It will include all characters, stages, and customs for $30. So maybe we can find it for $5 at Amazon and an error pricing error
Somewhere.
again. We'll see.
Maybe. Maybe.
We'll see. We'll see. There's a new Street Fighter V edition in the works coming next year. Capcom has announced Street Fighter V Champion Edition, the second edition to follow from the main game's release. Unlike Arcade Edition, Champion Edition is more than just a rebranding of the existing content. Street Fighter V Champion Edition. Oh, cause right. Remember how Street Fighter V, the
Two?
first, the
Oh.
no no the first Street Fighter V colon incomplete edition. Remember that? When
Yes,
that
I
was
remember.
released,
Yes.
and
Mhm.
then that caught a lot of flag, and then they released, oh, this is Street Fighter V Arcade Edition, and that pretty much sort of fixed it. I did like the changes that they make on Arcade Edition, but apparently it wasn't enough. But Capcom is like, guys, this is Street Fighter. You should be more excited about this tournament, guys. Okay. How about we start doing what we did with Street Fighter 2, and we call Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition, which is the game most complete yet, and comes with all announced and released post launch fighters, stages, customs for the main game, as well as arcade edition. It does not, however, include certain content such as the Fighting Chance costume from Capcom Pro Tour DLC and other brand collaborations. That's 40 characters. Wow, I didn't realize how many Street Fighter characters were. This game should be like amazing. This should be the fighting game actually when you think about the sheer number of characters. 40 characters, 34 stages, and over 200 customs by Capcom's count. Champion Edition will include Gil, who the publisher announced today will be available to existing players sometime in December. Street Fighter V Champion Edition arrives on February 14 for PC and PS4, physical and digital, priced at $35. Existing players can also upgrade to the Champion Edition and unlock all content today for $25. So if you upgrade today, you can unlock everything, but obviously you don't get the real, Champion Edition until that's out. So I mean, I I, I don't want Street Fighter. I think Capcom did a bad job with releasing Street Fighter on the stage that came out and souring the I don't know how that saying goes, but it has to
The
do with
grape?
souring that grape. Sure, there you go. Thank you. Save at the last minute. Nice combo. Um, I don't know why they decided to do it like that. Well, actually, I do know why, and I do remember it was to meet some sort of Capcom tournament deadline, and what it did, well, it did so much harm to that title that I felt like they were able to recuperate from it because people kind of like forgotten like whatever it did. Um, I'm happy to see that it's not dead. That they're actually releasing it. I think it's amazing. It has that many characters. I'll be willing to take a. I'm not a big fighting guy, but and I probably won't spend $25 to upgrade, but maybe on a deal, maybe $15. Sure, I got access to 40 characters and see that game through, and I don't know, man.
My thing is with the stupid like the upgrade, it's just $5 off. Okay,
Yeah,
that's grimy. That's just
yeah.
grimy. It's like, so what exactly are we saving here? That's not even the tax.
It's
I
not
don't
even
know.
I mean, it's for people that don't own it, right? $30 for people that don't own a Street Fighter game, the Street Fighter 5 at all,
Yeah, but
and
if you do own Street Fighter 5,
then
it should be
25
less. It should be $10.
issue, right? Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? It should just be $10 to upgrade through all that stuff. No,
I
I gotta pay $24 so I can basically just pay the 30 and get it because right now the Street Fighter 5 that I have is on disc.
Oh yeah.
I don't even put discs anymore in my system. So
Wow.
I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't even put it. So I'm like, I
go
might just
digital.
pay the 30, go digital. You
Yeah, I know, I know.
That may be the way to go. I mean, to be fair, I never actually paid full price for the game. Anyway, so maybe, I'm still, even if I were to pay 30, I'm still technically in the black when you think
Thanks.
about it. So
Thanks, Amazon. Well, Amazon
still
send us
looking
some
out,
review.
Amazon.
They sent us some review copies so that we can actually
Exactly, yeah.
and we gave our opinions on it. We obviously were, we disclosed,
we
and
we we said that the $10 was still too much.
it's still too much for the incomplete game that it was. Yes. Well, guess what? Now you have the most complete version of that. Now they're overcorrecting. Now they're like, you know what? Now you have the most complete version of Street Fighter 5 that you could ever hope to have. It has everything. All the characters, 40 characters, dude. 40 characters. That's kind of amazing.
It is.
Yeah, that's a lot of fucking Street Fighter is what it is. I We didn't talk about Stadia, but of course that's because we're gonna save it for the hot topic of the week coming up next. So what do you say? You guys stay tuned, and we'll be right back with our hot topic.
Thank you so much for coming back to hear us, and it is time for our hot topic of the
Hot
week.
topic of the week brought to you by Minute. 5 minute Costanza.
Oh, that's hilarious. Hot topic, guys, is the Stadia launch, which is to say, oh my God.
The Stadia disaster.
More like the failure to launch. More apt.
I know.
Um,
You were supposed to save us from the confine of the consoles and PC games, not join them.
Not join them, yeah. So if you don't know, guys, believe it or not, a new gaming service actually launched at the beginning of this week.
A whole new platform, dude.
A whole
I
new
can't
platform to
believe it.
play, and
Yes.
with supposedly many ways of accessing it. And I mean, first off, features that were supposed to be in there were not there available at launch. And the really dirty part is that it was about a week before launch that they said, "Oh yeah, these stuff that's not going to be ready by launch." You know what I mean? And it's just like, what? You must have known. You know what I mean? The game library is.
It was
lacking,
paltry.
well,
And,
yeah,
and now it's less so, but
a little less so.
a little less so, yeah. Because
believe it or
they're
not-
claiming 20. Now we have 22 launch titles, unprecedented. We have all these titles. Yeah, like one of them is new. Everything else it's being out already. You can play it
Yeah.
already.
In their defense, in that category, though, Doom Eternal was going to be one of those games available. So, not really their fault that Bethesda basically pushed that out. But then, of course, you have, I mean, I don't know how it runs. I hear it runs actually okay, but
I'll tell you about
not
it.
everywhere. Yeah. You'll have to fill me in on that portion of it. I've heard good and bad. I haven't heard great. That's the thing, and that's what they were selling. They were selling great. And then of course,
That was selling us into a new way of playing your games, right? A world
yeah.
where you were not tethered to your particular, console platform on your living room or bedroom or whatever. You could actually take this on the go and stream your game everywhere, and the latency was going to be very minimal, and your games were going to like look and feel amazing because it was going to be installed on these supercomputers uh, that could actually run these games at PC levels of performance, you
Mhm.
know, and virtually with. I believe they started calling it negative lag at some point. The
Mhm.
bullshit technology, nonsense. And
Yeah,
and, and
they promised. I
remember,
I read that too, and I was just like, oh my God, they were so big on this. This was
it
like the thing, you know. It's
it's
like, oh
gonna
no, you don't
pre
got to worry about this lag.
it's gonna preempt, like the system is gonna know, it's gonna preempt your moves. And to be fair, believe it or not, this actually, if we're saying believe it or not a lot, whether you
Believe
choose
it
to
or
believe it
not.
or not, this this technology has already been implemented in uh in fighting games actually that play over the internet. Some of them using the GGPO online engine that gets implemented. A lot of it is that preemptive. I don't remember the exact name, but the idea is that it helps avoid lag because the system could almost like guess the input that you're gonna be making, which I don't understand how that even works.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, I remember. Yeah,
Yeah, but
it was something like when they said it, it
uh
was you're bullshitting.
yeah,
You don't. There's just no. So because here's the deal. The next question after that is to say, so if it knows what I'm going to do,
what's the
what
word?
happens when it's wrong? You know what I mean? What
Yeah.
happens when it happens when it makes a move I didn't make. You know what I mean? It's like, so what are we doing here? It does just didn't make sense when it was saying it. I know you were high on it when it was first announced.
Yeah, yeah.
Game of Dreams was. I know you're high, and it's because of its potential. The potential of it
And
was great, but
the idea
and the
of
idea, yeah, the idea behind it,
no,
yeah.
no, the idea of the negative input lag, I know that exists. Granted, I don't understand how that works, but just because I don't understand it doesn't mean that I should bash it. That has been proven to work on online fighting games. Yeah. So I know that part, even though it sounded like BS, it was
It's not
it
that
was
such
something. It was
BS.
implemented. Yeah. But I love that the moment I saw the dream of it, I was like, yes, because I have actually played games streaming services like from almost 10 years ago, and I seen it work. Now, yes, for 10 years ago it was
Yeah, they
flat
can
as hell.
work, but yeah, I was gonna say they can work, but they lag, and that's the problem.
But I would have expected that Google was ready to handle that right now. And to be fair, all reports, no reports are saying that they're failing on that. Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
obviously
exactly. Yeah.
it's gonna be more laggy than having your own computer or your own console. But for the most part, they are delivering what they promised, which is a playable experience. Experience. The problem with that is that there's playable, but then there's consistent, and the consistency is what's failing right now.
Mhm. Correct.
Yeah.
And the consistency is difficult when you have an environment such as in my house.
Mm.
Okay. My wife is on her phone in the living room right now. She is also on her tablet running Hulu. This is her normal thing. She just runs, even though there's a TV in the living room. For the record, she for whatever reason runs it off the left. Like whatever. I'm not gonna debate there. But um, she's running Hulu, which is using a service, right? Nick generally would be in his room, and he would have his game up whatever game he's playing, and he's almost always in some chat party.
Mm.
So you throw all that into the mix. Now, yeah, that's where it's going to become difficult to obtain that consistency. And I don't know, dude. I mean, I'm not saying it's a failure, and I don't think it's just going to fail and whatever, but man,
Now,
it really leaves a bad taste for streaming gaming at the
what
moment.
what was a failure was the launch itself, because the launch is you're meant to bring up excitement about about a new we're talking about a next another competitor, and to face the Sonys and the Microsoft and Nintendos of the world. And it's like, yes, and we're gonna have eventually, because I wouldn't have expected it, or I guess I they should have had exclusive, but they didn't. That's fine. They only have one
They
exclusive, I
need
guess.
to. They
Uh,
need to have exclusive.
and but I was, yeah, you're right. For this launch, they should have at least a couple more exclusive titles that would have demonstrated, the capabilities, something that you can do differently, because I doubt that. First of all, if their thing is, well, consoles you can't move it with you, you
Hmm.
know. Well, right now on this launch, you cannot move the experience with you because
No.
it'll only work on your phone, and your
Hmm.
phone will have to be a 5G phone,
Yeah,
which the
exactly.
Pixel whatever it is,
The Google Pixel, yeah.
the Google Pixel is not. So
You
right now,
also,
I,
you
out of
also
the
the
gate doesn't
wireless
work.
controllers weren't wireless at
The-
at right at the moment, right?
right,
So that
right.
means you'd have to be your phone will have to be attached to the thing.
To the phone, actually,
To the
you're
yeah, the
the,
controller will have to be attached to the phone.
yes, which right now, and yes, I understand. Oh, it's coming later on. Well, then you should have released this later on.
Yeah.
There's no reason to release this now if you're gonna be charging your founders editions, your beta testers. You're basically, they're paying you for the privilege of testing this system. Also, just like you mentioned, the households, the typical household have several items pulling bandwidth from.
Hmm.
I monitor my bandwidth because I'm a freak. But because I have the means of seeing how much bandwidth I'm using of my connection, and it turns out it could get quite a bit. It could get in the hundreds sometimes if there are several devices pulling at the same time. If a game is downloading on Steam while my wife is watching, Prime, for example, or Netflix, and meanwhile I'm on my phone watching YouTube and pulling 4K imagery. The houses are busy, and this
Hmm.
system, it's almost requiring you to exclusively use your internet connection for its game. When you're gaming,
When you're
because
gaming on
yes,
it.
it's capable of doing or throwing you a 4K image, which, by the way, in most games is really not true 4K. It's 1080p upscale to 4K, which is like the definition of nonsense,
Yeah.
of bullshit.
Yeah.
But it touts that it throws a 4K image on the screen, and you want to have HDR and 5.1 surround sound. That you need to be using. How much was it? The numbers. It was it was it
Gigabyte.
was it was something ridiculous in gigabytes per hour, and and,
Oh, yes, yes.
and you needed a connection that is at the very least 30 megabits per second, which I would not recommend because that's like the minimum. So let's say 100 megabits per second, right? Usually people go up for that one. That they
Hmm.
feel like that's enough.
Yeah.
Um, that's that will still is not enough to give you a consistent lag-free experience with it.
In 4K, yeah.
Exactly, and
Mhm.
fake 4K because
And fake 4K, yeah.
here's another thing. Yes, you could play Destiny 2 and it feels good in the sense that if you're comparing it to consoles play Destiny 2 at 30 frames per second. When you play it on the Stadia, it's full 60 frames, so you're immediately excited. Wow, this experience was amazing. But look closer. That dream of having like all settings, all visual settings turned to the max and looking amazing, not so much. It turns out that the image that you're seeing is the equivalent of the game running in medium settings, at best. So to achieve the speed the 60 frame per second. So that tells me itself that those supercomputers that they're touting that they have, they maybe not be that super,
Yeah.
or maybe the drivers are not that the software is not there yet. Uh, or maybe it has something to do with lag. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that for a launch of a new system, the the sad thing was that a lot of people were receiving their founders editions and they were not able to register and use them because you need to register. By the way, that's I haven't even mentioned this. Using your phone, using a phone, you could. I mean, you would think that you could go with your founders edition. You could go to a website, maybe. You know,
Mm.
no,
Nope. Bring
they
out an app.
you
It's a
have
little
to bring
something
out
they
an
picked
app
up from Nintendo.
on your phone. Exactly. But you know what they're doing it, right? It's all part of this bullshit attempt to try to bring everything onto the Google ecosystem. Like there is no reason in the year of the Lord 2019 to require you download an app to register, to be able to play your game, to be able to buy your games, or change settings, mind you. It's like it's ridiculous. It makes
Yeah,
no
it
sense.
doesn't make sense. The another egregious part of the launch,
Uh,
the failure to launch. Excuse me. The Chromecast Ultra, I think is what it's called.
yes.
Um, so the Chromecast Ultra that came with it were the only ones that would allow. Like the Chromecast is already out there.
Mm.
The update for it never went out to, or I guess it's going out to it eventually, but not just yet. So those who have, you basically have to have the one that comes, the newest one,
Yeah.
uh, which obviously it just smells like a ploy to, hey, we need to get more of these out in the wild, more of these Chromecast Ultras on the wild. So let's limit what's available and have force them to not only do that, but they also have to get this Ultra. And then after launch, this is not a lot of reports, but there's a couple reports coming in that the Chromecast Ultra is overheating because when it's
Oh my
being
God, for
used
real.
with Stadia, and then shutting
I,
off. Yeah,
wow.
it's interesting. I don't know, sir. It's just like I said.
I believe it. I believe it. They could be overheating because you throw in data. You try to to that image is obviously a signal, right? A signal that's going to an electrical signal that's going to your HDMI, right?
Mm,
And it needs to be amplified so that your PC can not your PC, sorry, your TV can pick it up, obviously, and display and whatnot. But at the same time, you're throwing that and you're throwing also network because it's the the network connection. I mean, either Wi-Fi. Obviously, it does the Wi-Fi, but they recommend that you use Ethernet cable. All right, and you look at the Chromecast and you're like, what the hell am I gonna hook the
yeah,
Ethernet
again, where do
cable?
you put it into? Yeah.
It's actually it's a very interesting thing that they did. They actually plug it. You plug the Ethernet cable to the wall jack itself, not to the wall jack, but the charger thing, the block.
Hmm.
Uh, the same block that you plug into the wall for power is where you plug the Ethernet cable from there. And then I don't know. I guess the signal goes through the same copper wire
Mm.
up to the Chromecast. Who knows? But I mean, I imagine that's the way it works.
I
Uh,
guess. Yeah, I mean,
but
it's one of those things where it's like, if you've seen it, it's weird because it's this tiny little thing that you put in your TV and it kind of just dangles. You know, and I was like,
also,
I'm like, this is so weird.
also not even to mention because I feel like this is a little bit of a tangent, but Chromecast is terrible.
Yeah,
Having a Chromecast, it's
it is
bullshit.
not good. Yeah,
It's
it's
not
not a
good.
good thing. Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
like yes, we give the credit where it's due. It was one of the first, but
Yeah.
like Amazon released a better product, Roku did a better product. Like suddenly you did not need your fucking phone again to be doing shit. You
Yeah.
know, to be able to watch something, you can just do it right there on the screen. Unlike the Chromecast, where it forces you to use your phone.
To
So I don't.
cast it. Yeah,
Yeah,
to cast it
yeah.
from your phone,
To
from
cast
or
it from
from a
your phone,
device.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It make no sense. Looking at the list of titles that came out for the Stadia, and some of them I heard reports actually of people that have that have been able to play it, where the games run okay, but they might not be feature complete. Mortal Kombat 11, for example, is one of them. One of those games where the crypt right now it says it's not available, even though it lets you go in, but then it hitches and it's like a horrible experience. So it's
Well, it is
hilarious
different.
that
So,
they just left it like that, you know. It,
wow.
they just left it like that again. Be Remember Microsoft is doing something similar with their xCloud, but they're not. They're releasing it to some of their
There's a beta though.
internal tester. It's a
Yeah,
beta.
yeah,
They're not
yeah.
charging for it.
Mm-mm.
Quite the opposite. They're giving you. I think you can play like I want to say it's probably like 50 games. I could be wrong on that. Maybe it's 20, but it's a higher number of games, and you
Hmm.
play them for free while you're
Yeah,
testing this thing. You know.
yeah, because it's exactly they xCloud, Microsoft obviously has been in the gaming space now for quite some time, so it makes sense that they understand what needs to be. It has to be tested. We need to just dip our toes a little bit and little by little get into it and work the stuff out. Google doesn't look like they honestly they look like they were extremely overconfident.
But
Um,
they have industry veterans working at that
I
division. They
know
got
that's
they
what's
got
so
freaking
weird.
Phil Harrison on it, who have worked for Sony and
And
Microsoft. And you have Jade Raymond, working there also. She has worked on the industry for so many years already. Uh,
well,
I
what it
like
is, I mean,
who needed to do the call? Who was like? Why did he have to come in during this holiday? Like, what was the point of it exactly? Are they afraid that the next holiday season is
they're
going to
not
be
gonna get a chance. Yeah,
because of the next generation? But I thought this was almost meant to like that wouldn't matter.
it shouldn't matter. I think they should have taken a Nintendo approach to it and to say we're not actually competing, right? Because Nintendo isn't competing with Sony and Xbox. Um, they are just another console. They're doing their own thing. They've been doing their own thing. You can say that PlayStation and Xbox are competing, right? They are almost obviously competing with each other. Nintendo, on the other hand, is just doing its own thing.
But that's because
So
their
that's
system
the
is.
approach that they should. Well, yeah, that's good. Yeah, but their system's completely different. It's a little bit
Uh,
underpowered, but they. It's not like Nintendo can't afford to get a powerful system. They're just
yeah,
doing.
choose not.
They just have a different path. You know what
Yeah,
I
they
mean?
choose not to. Yeah.
Yeah, and so same thing. The same approach should have been taken with the Stadia to say we're not trying to compete. This is just something at first, right? Because the whole deal is at first, this is just another way to play. Will this be the future? Maybe eventually, but we just need to lay the groundwork for it to eventually get to where it needs to go. And so yeah, it looks like maybe they don't want to do next holiday season, but they didn't have to do a holiday season. It could have been a spring thing. You know what I
could have
mean?
been March. Yeah, it could have been. It
Yeah,
could
it could have
been
been.
March.
You could have waited until all the big titles that are coming out from January to May of next year and release this in the summer, and suddenly this becomes a summer thing where people are literally playing their games, in the park on their phone, or wherever, you know what I mean? And it's who knows? It just feels like it feels like it wasn't. And you're right. These industry veterans that are they should know, right? They should. I mean, they've been doing this long enough. They've been part of the industry long enough. I don't know.
Not only that, but
Somebody,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say somebody should have said something, or maybe they didn't know. Maybe they just saw it working so well in this tiny little bubble that they were in. They're like, this will be fine, right? It's like the dog in the fire. This will be fine.
But the meme of the dog on fire. I'm fine. But okay. So maybe they see that. Maybe they thought they had the technical portion down, and for the most part, maybe not completely, but for the most part, they sort of do. But then, what about this asinine, uh, not marketing, but the sales choices that they have, this marketing decisions that they make? Like, really, you mean to tell me that all games on Stadia, which I am, if I want the privilege of actually being able to play them at 4K, I have to pay a subscription for it, you know. And sure, yeah, they give me a free game here and there. Well, for the most part, I'm paying because I want to play in 4K, on my TV or whatever device. But I still have to pay full price for new games. I still have to pay $60 for for Doom, for Stadia Doom. Like,
So
where's the
yeah,
logic on that?
there's no logic on it. Believe it or not, there is no logic on it. It's the same reason where we're like, why are we still paying right now? These prices when so many of these are becoming digital. You know, the overhead alone that you're not paying for to give it to me digitally should make this game cheaper, but it doesn't. So I,
I understand that though.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
almost
but
understand the
they
logic
still
behind
don't.
it. No. I mean they're cutting the overhead, but they still needing to. Because remember, the games still need to make a lot of money, so that's why they filled with microtransaction and bullshit like that. So they took away, having to package it and all that, and now they give it to you digital. I mean, there's mind you, we can't forget they're still paying for bandwidth, which is expensive. So it's not like they're completely scot free of it. But I see what you're saying. It's digital. They should be saving you money. Why are games still $60? I get that, but that's not as egregious as Google Stadia expecting you to pay, your founders at, your $10 a month. Oh, and on top of that,
Pay for
you
the game
you you have to pay for the game full
in full.
price when I could just buy it, on the cheaper side on PC or
Look at the
console,
same.
whatever.
Yeah, look at the same game on X X Pass. No, Games Pass.
Game
Look at the
Pass.
same game.
Yes.
$10. You don't pay anything more, and
Mhm.
it's there, and you can
Yes.
just play it.
You can just play it
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. And it's a new title, right? We think of the Outer
And
Worlds
you
just
down
came out.
you
You know what I
download
mean?
the game. I
And
mean,
you,
for now you
yeah, yeah.
download the game and you play it. But let's say if you want to stream it, I'm sure that they integrate that in a way that it's a Game Pass game. You can stream it. You know,
Mhm,
you're already paying us Game Pass. Thank you very much. Enjoy
mhm.
your game.
Enjoy that
Not
game. Yeah.
Google Stadia of like, oh, you don't own a console. Even though you're a gamer, you don't own a console because it's too expensive. You don't own a PC. Well, now we offer you this solution. Even though we know you're a gamer, you just don't game because you don't have anything to game on. So we're gonna offer you this solution, and now pay us $60. Like what?
Yeah, that's insane. It
And
really is insane. Yeah.
it defies logic. The way that those are the decisions that I feel like at some point this month we're gonna hear them changing because they know they fucked up. They know that this is not going well. You're not getting the all the press that you're getting on your launch is bad press, you know. And then people say, "Oh, there's no such thing as bad press." Well, for this one, hearing you know that their first launch was bullshit will probably get me hesitant to accept the system in a future. And they say, "Oh, well, you know, YouTube started like that." You know, YouTube started as being something very, you know, very small, very simple, and look, like now everybody uses YouTube. But yeah, but YouTube was almost alone in satisfying, not literally, but it was very one of the very few players satisfying a need for, you know, for streaming video. That right now you're not the only game in town. I mean, you just saw it. Amazon is coming. Xbox is having. I know Sony has their streaming strategy. It's like you no longer
And
leave
these
it to
are
the
these are
package.
guys who are these are companies who know the gaming infrastructure and understand how to properly launch something.
Yeah,
And Stadia literally just tripped out the gate, which is I
which
don't
they
know.
could have also they understand the internet infrastructure, so at least they got that down. But then you hire all these people, you know, from the gaming industry, and you just had them making bad choices. You
Hmm.
know, it's like I don't understand. I don't understand what's going to happen with this service in the future. I mean, it could go one or two ways, obviously, right? Uh,
Yeah.
it could go the way where it gets improved and improved and improved and suddenly it becomes something viable. You know,
Hmm.
looking
Like
a
YouTube.
little bit
Yeah.
more like yeah, or it could be just another service that on the
Fills it
list
up.
of log services that Google has, that kills it. They just kill for no reason.
Hmm.
Like I'm not gonna dare to buy a game on Stadia if
No.
I know that Google at any point they can pull the plug.
Yeah. And then with their track record, you're like, yeah, that's not going to be mine for long.
This
So
this
I
launch
agree.
has this launch has been an F minus for Google Stadia. You know, a lot of people upset because they were not people that were expecting to receive their vouchers because for some reason they needed to receive an email to be able to register their online account and get dibs on their name. Uh, or now they couldn't. You know,
Hmm.
they didn't receive it. And yeah, man. It's a
That's
sad
great.
state of it's a sad state of affair. It definitely does not look good for the future of streaming. I have my hopes up, on it. I guess I needed to be more realistic when it came to the gaming industry in general.
It's okay.
It
You had high hopes.
overpromised
You had high
and
hopes. That's all it was. Yeah.
underdelivers.
Yeah. You had high hopes. I gotcha.
Microsoft,
Uh,
it's on you, boy. It's on you, buddy. But I'm not gonna trust you blindly.
yes.
You're gonna have to show me a receipt.
Exactly.
Show me your
Exactly.
receipts.
I'm surprised you didn't take the opportunity to say it's a sad stadia of affairs. But
Bravo,
well
sir.
said anyway.
Bravo, sir.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Thank you so much. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's show. As always, please go to goodgame.rocks and join the conversation there. And of course, please like, subscribe, and share the podcast with everyone. This is Mad Dog signing off for this week. Mr. David Santos, take us home.
It, it is it has been a sad stadia of affairs. Fucking with Stadia.
Well said, sir. I've never heard that before.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm witty like that, you know.
That's right.
Just the
That's
idea
right.
come up like that.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
GG!
GG!